Moving up and down again, there's no discharge in the war. There's no discharge in the war.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another riveting episode of Shepherd's Pie. I'm David.
And I'm Tommy.
And with us today, we have a very special guest. We've got Hank the Yank Kellogg. We got
Yeehaw!
bull rider,
Fuck up.
cowboy, real American over here.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to have you, Hank. We went to school with Hank back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really
Yeah,
spoke
2
to him
years ago.
in years, so it's great to have him on the show. Got a lot of catching up to do. Hank's lived a full life, and we really just want to have him on to talk about it because it's a very interesting one. I feel like an exemplary example. I'll keep saying that. An exemplary example
Yeah,
of
what a tongue twister.
of a man. And I only look up to Jesus, but man, Hank is an exemplary example of what a man is. So definitely somebody I think is worth looking up to, worth having on the show, worth telling his story. Hank, how you been, man?
I've been good. It's definitely been a while since I've talked to you boys. I guess I can't
Feels
call you
like
boys
yesterday.
now. Yeah, I mean it's been a few years though. I mean, shoot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, y'all graduated 15 years ago? I graduated 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tommy, I've known you
graduated
since
with you.
kindergarten.
yeah, Tommy graduated with you.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
did graduate with me. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I super seniored it.
He liked school too much.
Ah.
He hung out for an extra
Yeah.
year.
Yep. That was it. I remember.
That literally
Yep.
was it. Tommy wanted to be in school an extra year.
Just one more year. Just one more. That's
just
it.
one more. Yep. Well, hey, I failed second grade, so I guess I'm in the same boat with you, man.
Dude. It
Yeah,
happens,
I mean,
all right?
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Gotta cook a little longer.
Yeah, I guess Dave here was the only real smart one out of the three of us. He graduated on time.
Yeah.
He just kept it going. He just kept chugging
No,
along, dude.
my problem with
Yep.
school was too easy, so I kind of checked out around 9th grade, and I started getting bad
That-
grades because it wasn't interesting to me anymore.
That makes
Other things
sense.
in school were, yeah.
They weren't keeping up with me.
Oh. Oh,
And now,
Yeah, I've known
now
you
I
since
feel like an idiot.
frickin' like kid. Like
Yeah.
we went to preschool or something.
yeah, we went to
together.
preschool
Really?
and kindergarten. I mean, back when Williamstown Elementary was still a thing.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
when we were doing, we did field trips as a class to your home to learn about maple syrup. That was freaking. I remember that being so cool. Everybody going up, loading up, going over to your place, looking at the boilers and getting to see the raw maple syrup and everything, and the trees all strung up with the tubes and the buckets and tapping in. And Hank was a little superstar. He was a little famous guy. for that. Everybody got to get out of school and go learn about maple syrup, and it was a whole thing. So that was cool.
Going
That
up
was
to
very
the
cool.
family farm, the old family
Yep.
farm. They're still, I mean, they haven't in a few years because of my grandmother's health declined for a few years there, and she passed in
Oh, I'm
2024.
sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And my dad's been working to get back to it, and I think this year he actually I think he started tapping trees again and actually making maple syrup again this year. I'm not entirely sure because I'm not up there. Obviously, I live in Texas now.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
So I don't know for sure if he actually did. We talk regularly, but I haven't heard any updates on whether he has or he hasn't as far as making maple syrup and going forward with it, So, but we still have plenty of it. I can tell you that much because
Yeah.
I mean maple syrup never expires. If the seal breaks, it'll get some mold on it. You scrape the mold off, you boil it, you bring it back up to a boil, and it kills all the bad stuff that's in it and might darken the syrup a little bit, but it's good as new. And so
That's
maple
awesome.
syrup never goes bad. We've got syrup that's jarred up down and it's in the storage bins in my grandfather's barn. Been there for 20 years, 15,
Wow.
20 years.
amazing.
I mean,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It doesn't ferment.
Yep. Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Doesn't ferment. Yep.
You'd probably have to add something to it in order to get it to ferment, some type of like yeast or something that
Yeah,
converts
yeah, yeah.
converts the sugar into alcohol. But if you keep it
Yep.
sealed, and I mean, even if the seal does break, you get that mold on there. It's not necessarily going to be yeast. It's just
Imagine
going to
some
have a
maple
little
syrup
top
moonshine.
layer.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
That actually. Oh man, that would be good. That's a good idea right there.
Take over the family business and convert it into a moonshine. And
Shoot, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I kind of like Texas, so I don't think I'll be back up there. And their maple trees are kind of non-existent down here.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
just going to ask you if they had maple trees down there at all, or if they're like
Nope.
freaking wimpy maple trees. But
No, we mostly got pine and oak trees and mesquite trees, and that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. Oh, we got pecan trees too. We have pecan trees.
the good old pecan.
So
Yep.
I'd been wanting to convince everybody to move to Texas, and then it
Oh,
seemed like
it's a
shit went to hell in California, and then everybody from California moved to Texas, and it became kind of like a little like cowboy progressive California in certain areas.
Yeah, started changing it.
Yeah, that's been happening. It's kind of like what happened up in New York there, up around where we're all from. You know, you got all them people from New Jersey and Pennsylvania and Connecticut and Massachusetts. They're all coming.
And
They're from really
New
small
York
states.
City.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The city too. The New York City as well. They're all coming up and like up to like where you guys live,
Right.
where I'm from. And they see the price of land and they're like, oh my God, that's so cheap.
Yep.
But in reality, it's not. You're killing the little man that lives there with the property taxes. They're coming in buying up land thinking they got a deal when really they got ripped off, and it's killing the little man, and that's why like local family farms are selling out and they can't afford it anymore. They can't afford the taxes anymore
Right.
because the property value's gone up, because you got people from Jersey that'll come up and they'll spend $100,000 on an acre of land, and the little guy can't afford that,
Nope.
and so it kills them in the property taxes. And we essentially have the same thing happening here in Texas. Land is it's probably about the same price as it is in New York. But the Californians, they're coming out here to Texas and they're like, oh my God, the price of land is so cheap,
Yeah.
because they're used to $500,000 an acre out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And meanwhile, out here, it's like 10,000 an acre.
Right.
And but the realtors will jack it up to 20 and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so cheap. And they'll just buy 10 acres and think they made out great, but really they just raised the property value and the taxes and all that. And it's really all they did. But I mean, it also depends on where you are in Texas, because I don't know if you boys are aware, but this state is freaking huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes like
gigantic.
12, 13 hours just to drive from east to west. And I've made that trip a few times, and it is a long, grueling drive. We'll say that. Like,
Road
it's a long
tripping.
drive. Oh yeah. And getting over the road to rodeos, just it's a long drive across the state of Texas. And there's some areas like the Californians primarily stick to like not so much just the suburbs, but a little bit outside of the suburbs of the major cities. But once you get away from the major cities, like, you run into just true-blooded Texans, and they're really like some of the nicest people you'll meet. Like, really, I mean, I believe you'll find nice people anywhere you go, but like very, I've been very welcomed here in Texas since I moved here, and it's been really, really cool. It's
Really
been a great
seems like the
experience.
place to go if you want to like live more off grid, live more naturally, live more like away from people. Like you said, it's so big.
Yeah. Absolutely. That and enjoy your freedoms.
Yeah.
Enjoy your freedoms.
Yeah, like,
I mean, we like what 2 years ago I think it was, we became constitutional carry. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
I've
that's
had a
awesome.
license. I've had a license to carry in this state since 2020, and you know, like so I can actually carry concealed and everything. Constitutional carry only allows you to carry open, but I can actually carry concealed and whatnot legally in the state of Texas, and they're very
Sorry,
pro
explain
Second
that
Amendment.
for me. Is constitutional
What?
carry like you don't need a license, you can just carry? But it has
Yes.
to be open?
Yep.
That's dope.
It has to be open carry. You have to carry it out open so that it's visible to the public. Concealed carry, you know, you
Right.
have to have the license to
Right.
carry in this state. I
that's
can't
dope.
speak for other states, but yeah, you have to have a license to carry. And a license to carry it's so easy to obtain.
And so do
like,
you
it's
do you see
nothing
most
like
people
process
open
in New York.
carrying?
No, not really. Even though down here guns are like firearms and Second Amendment and all that is very much so expected and it's welcomed
Right.
and it's encouraged
Yeah.
down here and it's like fully embraced. You don't really see a lot of as much open carry as you would think. It's not like the Wild West where there's guys walking around with 6 guns hanging off their hips.
Yeah.
You know, like they're about to walk
Shoot.
up to the OK Corral and just have a shootout, you know? I mean, like people are like, you know, people are modernized with their choice of weaponry that they use for self-defense, you know?
Right.
I mean, myself personally, I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy and I like old school guns. So, you know, I carry a 1911, you know, so
Yeah.
it's like the oldest semi-auto handgun, you know, that's actually reliable and functional and been combat proven. Like, it, you know, like,
I knew you were a Colt guy. I knew it.
oh yeah, I
I
love
would
my
have guessed
Colts.
it. I would have guessed
Yeah.
it.
I mean, you know, it's like they say, God created man, Sam Colt made them equals.
Yes, sir.
you
Yes,
know,
sir.
that's how it goes, man. You know, so I carry my 1911 chambered in a 45, and that's I carry it concealed. I carry it open. Really doesn't bother me. A big part of the problem, it's a psychological thing, really, when it comes to carrying a handgun. Especially coming from a state like New York, for like me
Yeah.
coming to Texas, something I wasn't raised, you know, in this the way it is down here, like with people, how they have their mindset and everything. I mean, I was raised around firearms and guns, rifles, pistols, shotguns, the whole nine.
Right.
I grew up shooting. My one of the first things my father taught me how to do was shoot as a young child, and but up there, you know, it's like you have to have a pistol permit to own a pistol.
Yeah.
You have to have a pistol, and then once you get that, you have to acquire a carry license in order to be able to carry it. And then there's 2 designations of the carry license. You have to apply for just a regular carry permit, which allows you to carry open, and then you have to apply for another permit, which allows you to carry concealed, and then they put restrictions on it to tell you when you can and cannot carry in your everyday life.
It's
And
so
then you come-
restrictive.
Yeah, and then, you know,
So
so I
bad.
grew up with that, and then come down here to where they're like, nah, man, you can carry
Yeah.
any way you want, pretty much wherever, you know, like you just got to get a license to carry. It costs like $50. You know, you go take a little course, you got to take a shooting examination, you got to pass with at least a 70 or higher, and, you know, just wait like a month or 2 and they'll mail you a license to carry in the mail, just like they do a driver's license. And it's
Yeah, that's
essentially the
awesome.
same thing. And, you know, like, so getting used to carrying, like, open carrying where the whole public can see it, it's a psychological thing, because you're constantly like kind of on edge, like everybody can see
Yeah.
my gun, like
Yeah.
am I carrying in the wrong place, am I doing something wrong? And it takes a while to get comfortable carrying a firearm, even concealed, because even concealed coming from New York, where
Right.
if you got caught with that thing, you're going to jail
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
long
you're-
freaking
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But down here, like, cops walk right by you and you're open carrying. You know, you could strap an AR-15 to your back and a cop will walk right by you. Like,
Hell
it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
dude.
Like, I mean, maybe if you're in Dallas, they might be like, yo, what do you got that for? And it's like, well, is there a law says I can't carry it? You know,
Constitutional
like,
carry.
Yeah, exactly. There's no law says I can't carry it, and so it's getting used to that, like subconsciously, and not sitting there second guessing yourself the whole time you're out in
Yep.
public while carrying a firearm is it's a hurdle to get over. It really is. And I mean, I kind of went like, I believe in, like, if you're gonna do something, like, just go all out and do it, right? Like, so, and they taught us this in our carry class, or our license to carry class. Like, they taught us this, like, it's going to be awkward, so just carry it. The more you carry it, you'll get used to carrying it. You get used to the weight, and eventually you won't even realize it's there. And granted, that might be a little far-fetched. You always know you have a gun on you when you have a gun on you, and you always know when you don't have a gun on you if you're not carrying one. And so, but for me, like, I feel like, or in my opinion, like, the way I like to do things is just dive straight in, like, go head first and just get the worst of it over with. So I immediately just open carried. Like, I didn't start out small, like conceal carry a little bit here, or conceal carry a little bit there. No, I just strapped it on my hip and I started carrying open. T-shirt, blue jeans, a belt with a holster, and a mag, like a double mag pouch on the other side. So I've got a couple extra rounds of ammunition just in case I need it. God forbid I ever need to use it.
Yep.
But it's, it's one of them things. It's like a fire extinguisher. When, if you don't have it, you wish you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's something that's sorely missing here in this state. Is it's so progressive with these ideas. They're trying to get rid of these things. They don't want us to have them. If you have a gun, then you're like
you're a monster,
a criminal. Yeah. You're like
you're a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
It's
and man, it just goes to show that, like, you don't have all the gang violence, you don't have all the gun violence in Texas that you do in cities like California.
There is plenty of gang violence.
Oh yeah, being next to the southern border.
There is plenty. Oh yeah, there's plenty. There's a lot of, like, biker gangs and whatnot, and the cartel is running rampant through here. And obviously, we've got the southern border, so drugs flooding into the country. Sex trafficking. And like, it's, there is a lot of, like, gang violence is a thing down here, but you don't see it so much, like, it's kind of like out in, like, where we're from up in New York. You don't really see gang violence there. It's kind of the same way down here in Texas. You see the gang violence and whatnot in the cities, sure, but out here in the country, like where I live, you're like, even gangbangers ain't that dumb. They know everybody's got a gun.
Exactly.
Like, you break into somebody's house, or you try to do a drive-by out in the country, it's like, there's a pretty good chance you might get shot. They might shoot back.
They got a shotgun hanging up right behind the door, dude. You might get
everybody down. I'm pretty sure everyone down here in Texas owns an AR-15. So it's like, you could come by, do a drive-by with your little Glocks and whatnot, or but I could step outside with a 100-round drum mag in my AR and just empty into your vehicle as you drive by. Now, granted, realistically, you got to go back in, you got to get the gun, you got to load the gun, you got to take it out, and you got to start engaging your target. But, and that takes time, and they'll probably be gone by then. But they also understand the fact that your average citizen here in the state of Texas has the capability to do that.
Yeah.
And you just never know. So,
that was my point, is that, like, when your everyday average citizen is armed, then the chances of the fact that they're armed to the teeth is going to be exceedingly higher than anywhere else. People aren't going to, or they're going to think twice at least. Like, of course, you're still going to have the same sort of crime, and it's going to be for, like, different reasons, but it's going to be, like, in the designated areas where those reasons occur, like, and then
absolutely,
like you said, the border or the bikers, like, there's reasons behind it. Whereas, like, in these cities where things are just going awry, you've got random one-on-one gun violence. You got people holding up gas stations and, like, that sort of thing. And it's like, you don't have that when everybody's armed.
Yeah.
Or at least a lot less of it.
Yeah,
and
a lot less of it.
It gets handled. By citizens, and it makes it so that it's not there's consequences for people's actions. It's not something off in the distance.
Absolutely.
It's an immediate response to whatever you do. That second guessing, that comes in like major when you have another someone with a gun in your vicinity, or even knowing that there's just like a lot of people that could.
And I bet you the police are a lot more respectful
accessible.
too.
It depends on where you are. City cops, in my experience, like, and I'm not trying to dog any law enforcement. I'm a very big supporter of the boys in blue. I worked in law enforcement. I worked in law enforcement for a little bit, so I know a little bit about what them boys go through and everything. And it's I respect what they do, and I appreciate their service and their self-sacrifice and all that they make to their communities and whatnot. There are, like, a lot of them, the stereotypical as far as like law enforcement goes when it comes to, like that whole, like, you're just a cop because you got bullied in high school and now you're on a power trip kind of thing.
So now they're taking it out on everyone else.
Right, it does happen, and it's just like any group of people. You're always going to have a few bad eggs. You're always going to have a few bad eggs, and some, you don't know what kind of day that cop has had. He might just be in a bad mood. Now, granted, does that give him an excuse? No, but that might be a reasoning behind why he acts the way he does, or the way he proceeds with just a everyday traffic stop or something like that, or the way he speaks to you or anything like that, and I mean, but like I said, every group has a few bad eggs in it. Everybody has a bad day, I mean, they try their hardest to be as professional as they possibly can, round the clock, the entire time. I know that. I've got family that's in law enforcement. I've got 2 cousins that were federal marshals. I've got a cousin that's a county sheriff in a right where you guys are at right now. And I've served in law enforcement down here for Parker County Sheriff's Department in Texas. And, it's a very underappreciated job, and that adds a lot more to the stress of the job, especially these days. I couldn't imagine being a cop in 2024, being law enforcement in 2024, with the amount of scrutiny and hatred.
There's a lot going on then.
There really is, and it's appalling to me. It really is. It's very disrespectful to men and women who are willing to put their lives on the line for the sake of their communities and for, the safety of them as well. And it's pretty bad. I mean, the cops are definitely down here. They're a lot more, it comes down to they were raised with it as well. Like, they were raised on this down here, the way things are. Right. But they're definitely a lot more accepting of, like, civilians carrying firearms because they're allowed to. Civilians are allowed to. And don't get me wrong, like, some people genuinely should not be allowed to carry a gun because they're kind of a dumbass. Pardon my language, but you should, if you're going to carry a gun, you assume a responsibility not just to yourself, but to the people around you, to know how to properly use that firearm, and when it is proper to use that firearm, when it's acceptable. Like, if somebody just starts, like, they punch you in the face once, it's not an acceptable reason to pull out a freaking Glock and bust a cap in their ass, as they say, like, it's not acceptable.
Well, like, and I feel like most people know that, I feel like most people are on that same wavelength. So you would be surprised. Like, you would be surprised the amount of people that think, like, oh, well, like, he just assaulted me. It's like, well, even the law states it's, it's equal to or lesser than the force that is used upon you. So if somebody's hitting me with their fists, that means I can't bring out a knife. I can't bring out a gun. Now, if there's 5 people beating the crap out of me, yes, I can bring out a knife. I can bring out a gun. Absolutely. That's justifiable, because 1 on 5 is, I'm sure there's few people that could do it, but your average person, no, they can't do it. Now, if somebody pulls out a knife, you can't pull out a gun. You can pull out a knife, or you can fight them with your fists. But that's the whole concept of equal to or lesser force. Like, you have to equalize with their force, or use lesser force than what they're using to subdue
like your attacker, your assailant, basically. That's how the law reads. And regardless whether you're completely in the right, 20 cops witnessed a guy pull a gun, shoot you in the leg, and you shot him like through the chest or straight through the head and killed him on sight right there. And 20 cops are standing there and they witnessed the whole thing, and they know you are dead to rights, totally okay with a self-defense case. You're still getting arrested and you're still going to jail because you just shot somebody. So
you'll get off of it, but you will end up spending time, and you'll have to go through that entire process.
You'll have to go through the whole legal process.
The knife thing, you're literally, I mean, if you don't have a knife on you and somebody has a knife on them and they're coming at you with a knife and you're expected to use your fists to fight them, I mean, they're coming at you with deadly force, but you do have a gun on you. What are you, you have to use the gun.
If you have a firearm and somebody comes at you with a knife, you're allowed to take that firearm out and you can point it at them and you could be like, hey, back up. We're not playing this game. Like, back up. Like, let them know you have intent to shoot. But technically, if you shoot them, that's you used excessive force. Now you're the assailant.
Right.
And that now you're the bad guy. So, like, you can pull it out and use it as a visual deterrent. And a lot of people will back down because this is the state of Texas. And they, Texans generally don't mess around, especially when it comes to their lives.
Do you find that a lot of Texans have more cameras in their vehicles so that they can kind of document any of these maybe incidents of violence or anything? Because with having such a kind of law and precedent with having this violence, this justification for these different levels of violence, you would probably want to have some type of recording, is what I would imagine. So I think that, like, up here, I don't think a lot of people have a lot of cameras in their cars, but I know that, like, in places like Russia, I don't know how I know this, but they have dash cams like crazy in Russia. You see all their freaking, like, crazy accident stuff, and it's like every citizen has, like, a dash cam. But it kind of prompts me to think that in, like, Texas you would.
I mean, I'm sure there's a good amount of people that do. I know a few people that do, and I know plenty of people that don't also. I personally don't. I'd like to have one. I would like to have one, but those systems are also, they can be pretty expensive, especially if you want to get into, excuse me. If you want to get into, like, higher quality, like dash cams and whatnot, like the kind that actually, like, they will turn off on their own, like, after 30 minutes of, like, no movement.
It'd be usable in a court of law.
Right. Like, if they're, like, because they make some that are, like, they're really cool. I've got a friend that has one, and, he's like, man, you really ought to get one for your truck. You got that brand new truck. You really ought to get one. And so I was like, yeah, but how much do they cost? And it's like a $300 system. And I'm like, man, I really don't want to spend $300, but it would absolutely be worth it. Yeah. I mean, this system that he has, like, he shuts his vehicle off and, like, 5-10 minutes later, the camera shuts itself off because there's no movement. But if somebody bumps into your vehicle, like, even if they stumble, fall down, and just fall into your vehicle, like, it's a complete accident. They're not being malicious. Like, there's a sensor, like, your vehicle's going to move. There's a sensor in that camera. It automatically, boom, it starts recording. And it just... Right. And so it starts recording, and it's kind of nice because he has, like, I think he's got like 120-hour loop on it. So it'll record 120 hours, and once it hits the end of it, it'll go back to the beginning of that 120 hours and start recording back over the last 120 hours. So it'll constantly record for you. Right. And it's consistently recording for you, and you have at least 5 days worth of video recording on your phone, or I mean on your on the device, however you utilize to get the video image up. But you have at least 5 days worth of recording that, like, if your vehicle, like, got backed into in a parking lot on the passenger side bumper, and it's, like, left a small dent and you didn't see it, and, like, until, like, 4 days later, you could be like, oh crap, I can rewind my footage and go look at it and be like, oh, this guy did it, here's his license plate,
Yeah.
And then you can file a report, and you actually have somebody, rather than going to the insurance company and being like, somebody hit my vehicle. I don't know who. I don't even know when it happened. It must have happened when I parked it in a parking lot. It just I just noticed it today. And then it's going to dock your insurance. You're going to get charged more. But if you've got that evidence, obviously, they're going to charge that person's insurance rather than your insurance. So
I just get sketched out about the whole thing because I don't want, I guess, like, they're less personal, but, like, it's still, like, data recording for the machine.
Yeah, it could theoretically get picked up on and ran through with freaking like NSA level type stuff, freaking networking all the car cams together like Amazon does with their Ring doorbells. And,
yeah. I mean, to an extent, yeah. But I mean, when you think about it, like your dash cam is pointed forward and out of the vehicle, and they typically 99% of the time don't have audio recording. They're just video. And so it's
you're
not
doing geomapping for them. It's not like personal information, but you're still collecting information.
It's not personal.
That's already done, though, dude. They've already done all the geomapping.
I guess.
Yeah, yep. But I mean, I would say there's quite a few people that do have them here in Texas, more than likely. Yeah. But I mean, also at the same time, the amount of older vehicles that I see on the road down here, because they don't have the road salt and everything like y'all do up north, which destroys older vehicles and makes it so they're not on the road. Yeah. And so, like, I mean, it doesn't just destroy older vehicles, it destroys all vehicles. But, you know, like up north, like my dad always used to say, up north where they use salt on the roads during the wintertime, the frame of a vehicle will go to hell before the motor and the transmission do. Down here in Texas, the motor and transmission will go to hell, but you'll still have a perfectly good frame and a good body.
That's actually awesome, thoh.
Yeah, and so you could just get you could just get a new engine and transmission and throw it in that same vehicle, and you're good to go.
Just imagine,
whereas up north, you got to buy a whole new body
that doesn't have to deal with the salt thing.
Yep,
absolutely. I mean, we've had to deal with it like. Literally, I've been one of the things that have irritated me since I've moved to Texas. Maybe you guys have seen my social media posts and whatnot, but I have not. I've been down here. This July will be 8 years. I've lived in Texas.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So 7.5 years I've been down here, and I have not made it through a single winter, no matter where I've lived in the state of Texas, and not seen snow.
Really?
I have seen snow everywhere in this state every year.
You brought
it. I can't. It must have followed me down here.
We're gonna have to cut this out because now everybody's gonna be coming after you for bringing the snow to Texas.
Yeah,
probably. Yep.
Yeah, little snowbird.
So are you familiar with any like Texas being close to like Mexico and stuff? They've got like the chupacabra. Have you heard any, or like are there any like legends or anything going into like Texas that you've heard of, or have you had any like weird experiences like that with anything?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Sitting out there in the field, you haven't had like a UFO fly over your car, dude? Like
No. I think the biggest thing, like down here in Texas, there's a lot of haunted history down here in Texas. Like mainly, you know, I mean, the Comanche Wars, like back in the 1800s. I mean, they were bloody and brutal. You know, just the massacres and the raids that were conducted by the Indians. And, you know, I mean, not just completely the Indians, but I mean, you know, the United States government and the
there was just bloodshed. It does. Texas does have quite a bloody.
It's got a very bloody history, a very, very bloody history for sure. And, you know, I mean, we've got, you know, our haunted houses, and, you know, we've got our insane asylums and all that are shut down now, but the buildings are still there. Yep. There's lots of Indian burial grounds, and, you know, lots of historical markers, which is one really cool thing that I absolutely love about Texas, because I don't know how much like y'all remember about me from high school, but I have always been a big history buff, like specifically American history. and specifically like American military history. Like I love history, and so there isn't a there. I don't think there's a road in the entire state of Texas that you can drive down and not come across a historical marker.
That's dope.
Like the state of Texas has made it a point to put placards and markers at the sites, even off-road, like it could be 50 miles back into the middle of the bush or a barren wasteland or some dude's pasture. Like there will be just a marker with a fence around it and maybe a monument or something to say, hey, such and such battle was fought here between the Texas Rangers, like
That's
of
really
Company
cool.
B under Captain so-and-so against the Kiowa or the Comanches, and you know, like 5 Rangers were killed, 2 were wounded, and 20 Comanche or 20 Kiowa were killed, blah blah blah, whatever. And it'll have the whole breakdown. Yeah, they have they're very proud of their history and their heritage and everything, and it's really cool because you can just drive around the state of Texas and you can get a history lesson. You know, you can get a history lesson probably every day of the year. Yeah,
it's a shared identity, and you do hear it a lot. Like Texans, they kind of they tote it. They
oh yeah, they're very proud people. They're very proud to be Texans, and I mean you don't mess with Texas. Like you don't mess with Texas. Like that's a no-no. They're very proud to be Texans. Yeah. I'm proud to be a born again Texan, I guess you could say. Like I've lived here long enough. I got a driver's license. This is where I reside. I'm a Texan now. Right. I'll always be a native, a New Yorker,
Yank.
and in a heart. Yeah, that's why they call me the Yank. I'm a Yankee, but I'll always be a Yankee at heart. But I'm proud to be here in Texas, to live here, and make a living here, and have started a new chapter in my life and done so well with it too. Yeah. I mean, it's it was definitely a heavy question on my mind when I first moved here. Like, am I gonna make it? Like, am I gonna be able to do this? Like, and you know what? I just stuck to my guns and I went with it and rolled with the punches. And it ain't all been easy, and it ain't all been sunshine and rainbows. There's been some hard times and some downright ugly times. I've been homeless a couple times, and you know what? But I stuck it out, and I'm still here and surviving and making it through. I've made a few good friends. I don't have many. I've learned a lot of life lessons, and I've done a lot of growing up since I've come down here, more so than I think I did back home, and probably about the equivalent to like going into the Marine Corps and serving. Like, that definitely made me grow up really quick and really fast. And but coming down here, like, I've really grown up a lot, and I've really learned a lot of life lessons. And it's just it's been a truly incredible and amazing and experience, and a very blessed one as well. I mean, I understand there's a lot of hardship in life, and I've met with some bad times, but I've met them head on, and I've pushed through it and persevered. And I know at times it has been, even as a believer and a follower of Christ, it has been hard to not curse the heavens and just yell at God, and
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as you don't lose your faith in God, you can be mad at God.
Right.
The God, he don't care if you're mad at him. Of course, he's going to give you some shit. He's going to give you your toughest battles that you're able to deal with. Like, he's only going to give you as much as you can deal with, but he'll give you as much as you can deal with.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so, be mad at him, but don't lose faith.
Oh, yeah. And one thing I've definitely learned is, I understand that, like, here in the last few years, that whole the FAFO, fuck around, find out thing, like that whole FAFO thing, that's taken on a new trend here in the last few years amongst humanity. But I tell you what, God is a firm believer in FAFO. I tell you what, because you want to do some dumb shit. God's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna show you why that was a bad idea, and
I'm gonna
maybe
show you
you'll
why that
learn a
was dumb
lesson.
shit.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, you want to mess around? We'll show you. And God is he's a very good teacher in that aspect, you know. And but yeah, so it's I mean, I'm not saying that all of the hardships I've been through. Actually, I'm not even saying that any of the hardships I've been through or the like whatever's come down the way, like it's all a product of of decisions and choices and actions that I personally have made. And so like it's something that seems to be lost on our generation these days is
personal responsibility.
Yes, personal responsibility, accountability, holding yourself accountable, holding yourself to a standard, and accepting the fact that, you know what, like, oh, my girlfriend cheated on me and we've been together for 5 years and now I'm homeless and now, like, I don't have any money, like this, that, she left me, this, that, and the other thing, and just sitting there and playing the blame game and playing a victim role and just being woos me the whole time. And it's like, but I believe a part of growing up and becoming a man or an adult, a responsible adult, taking accountability and responsibility for your actions is being able to reflect upon it and being like, okay, well, you know, it's not all her fault that that our relationship ended, because at the beginning of it all, you're just you both share, even if your partner cheats on you, you're both 50% to blame, in my personal opinion. You both share equal blame, because guess what? If your partner cheated on you, you were the dumb motherfucker that trusted them.
Yep.
And so that is your fault. And you know, granted, I'm not saying that cheating is okay. It's not by any means. It's absolutely disgusting and appalling.
Yep.
But so I'm not saying that it's okay.
But you have to have,
and I'm not saying that anybody's perfect
about who you join a relationship
with. You
with.
have to, yeah, and you have to be conscious and aware enough to notice the red flags. And you know what? Like, everybody's on and on and on about like standard red flags. I'm not talking about standard red flags. I'm talking about things that are deal breakers for you as an individual, as a person, because we all have boundaries. We all have our own personal boundaries of, you know, like, that's just not cool to me, you know, and like, I just don't agree with that. And so when you see those things in the beginning of a relationship, it's, if you choose to stay, you made that choice. You made your bed. Now lay in it. Okay. Yep. But that's your choice, whether you stay or you go and you cut this person out of your life completely. And so a lot of people these days, it's become very popular to play a victim role and be the whole, oh, woos me, cry. Like, I want sympathy and attention from everybody because, oh, my heart's broke because I'm an idiot and I trusted this person. At the end of the day, when I see stuff like that, that's exactly how that transcribes to me. Like, that's how I perceive it. That's how I read it. That's how I interpret what you're saying. Like, when you put those posts, when people put those posts out on social media, like, oh my God, my boyfriend cheated on me. Yeah. It's like, and you know, you probably noticed a bunch of red flags in the beginning and you chose to stay. And even if you didn't, and you know what, he was just perfect the whole time, like, either way, you still chose to trust him. And I highly doubt he was perfect the whole time, because nobody's perfect. Right. We all fall short of the glory of God, and God is the only perfect being. So, you know, like, at the end of the day, you share at least 50% of the blame for what happens to you, no matter what. You share at least 50% of the blame, no matter what the circumstances or what happens to you in your life. A breakup, hard times, lose your job, end up homeless. You share at least 50% of the blame. Friendships, everything. Because you trust people, you make certain choices that you might think they're right in the moment, you know, but later on, the truth will come out, and life will teach you, no, that wasn't the best decision you could have made. There was another decision that you should have made, but now you know that. So going forward into the future, hopefully you'll make that better decision next time. If you don't, then, well,
the point you're making begs like a larger question, because like it'd be wise to, when forging relationships, hold your boundaries firm. And so when these red flags come up, yeah, you shouldn't really actually stay with that person, or maybe that's maybe continue to date, see if it works, but definitely don't marry, don't have a kid with, be safe when you're having sex with that person, because you already saw some red flags. So to your point, like avoid those things.
Absolutely.
But then also, like, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you're sticking it out, and then those things start coming up, like, how much do you work on a thing? Because once you've made those commitments, you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage. Like me and my wife, we dated for 10 years, but a lot of shit all on my end came up during those 10 years, and she was willing to work with me through all of that. And we were able to come out the other end, and I still cause a little bit of shit stain every once in a while, but to her credit, she's great at working with me on those things. So like,
hey, that's awesome, man. You got yourself a good one. I don't even know your wife.
I really do.
Like, you got yourself a good one there, man. And as far as like that question goes, like, so for me, like, me personally, like, within the within the first 6 months, I typically know whether or not I'm capable of sticking it out with a person. Like, within the first 6 months of a relationship, I know if this is something someone I could see walking down the aisle with, right? And being together like 60, 70 years from now, like two grumpy old people on the front porch in rocking chairs, me with a shotgun and her with a broom,
right.
Whatever. Like, I can see that, like, within 6 months. I will know within the first 6 months for sure. I would even go as far to say as I would probably know within the first 3 months. But so the red flags you notice at first in the beginning of a relationship, in my experience, those are the things you will never change. You will never convince them to change. You will never make them change. People only change if they want to change. That's men and women both. People only change if they truly want to change. Now, if they truly love you and they truly care about you, they will want to change. But if they don't, then they won't change. So those kinds of red flags, because there's different types of red flags, but those kinds of red flags, the things that really push your boundaries, that irk your limits, that just feel downright disrespectful to you in the beginning, when they display those actions and they display those attitudes and those behaviors, that is the time to walk away. You're not there to fix that person. It is not your job to fix someone. The only person in this life that you are responsible for fixing is you yourself, and that's it. You yourself, like, that's it. You're responsible for you and you only. So now, granted, once you get married as a man, yes, you're responsible for the well-being and the protection of your family. That's different though. We're talking about the beginning stages of dating in a relationship. And so when you notice those red flags at the beginning of a relationship, there's two ways to go about it in my experience. This is just my opinion. People are more than welcome to disagree with me. But there's two ways to go about it. You could just leave. You could just leave. Just cut them off, out of your life, never speak to them again. Fair, it's quick, it's painless, like ripping a Band-Aid off. You've been hanging out for a month, 2 months, things just ain't right. Sorry, gotta go. Like, I can't do this. Whatever you gotta say, just leave, right? Or if you see the potential in the person for them to change, if you can see that potential for them to change, whereas you might actually be able to see them possibly changing. And, I feel like most people are pretty good. Like, you can judge someone's character pretty well just off basic knowledge of life and how humans operate and life experiences and everything.
You give people too much credit.
Right. And so if you can see, like, this is like you know, if I'm dating somebody and I'm like, this is a really good woman. She's a very nice woman. She's a good person. Like, I believe she's capable of changing. Address those issues with them. Do it in a respectful way. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be a douche. You know, like, don't go in half-cocked, you know, like, sit on, like, hey, you know, I need to talk to you. Like, we need to talk about something. It's kind of bugging me. It's, you know, like, it's kind of a big deal for me. Don't go in saying, oh, it's not that big a deal. No, that sets a bad preset subconsciously for the other person, because now they're like, oh, it's not that important. And you just emphasize that it's not that important. So when you sit down, like, it's kind of a big deal to me. It's important to me. It may not be important to you, but it is to me. And if you value me, then you will value what I have to say, and you will consider it, and you will be respectful to what I have to say. And then you address your issues. And if they're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that bugged you. Like,
that's when you see their true colors.
Like, like,
they either start to work on it or they don't.
Right, like, I know that bugs you. I'm so sorry. Like, absolutely, I won't do that around you, or I won't go do this thing anymore, or I won't do this, or I'll stop doing that. Like, no big deal. Like, that's not that big a deal, because in the grand scheme of life, it's not, you know. And so, but if they're like, well, that sounds like a you problem. Sounds like you're gonna have to get over it. Right there, that's your instant. Okay, well, good talk. Have a nice life. Leave.
Yep. Because if you
don't sit there and explain none of that. Like, don't sit there and explain, because at least as a man, I can't say as much about women, but like, as a man, like, if you come across that situation, don't sit there and explain your point why you're going to leave now. No, just say, okay, have a nice life, go, leave, get out. Say nothing more to that person ever again, because the more you say, the more you degrade yourself in their eyes, and the more respect you will lose. But not only that, the more time in your life you waste. It may only be 5 or 10 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes, you're never going to get back. Like, you know, you'll never get it back. And
the
for
boundaries
men,
that you allow them to step over, the more times that you allow that to happen, and also the more times that you bring yourself out of your boundaries, you shift them for that person, the more it degrades yourself. You can't, and not just in their eyes, it does in their eyes, absolutely. Like, they will lose respect in you, they'll lose value. But it also degrades yourself. So in the inevitability that they end up taking off, or something doesn't work out, you end up having, like, your identity got wrapped up in boundaries that got shifted and moved, and you kind of moved all your lines, and then you have to, like, reestablish your whole thing over the next, like, course of however long. If you don't want to let boundaries go stepped on. You really don't. There's there is a degree where you want to hold certain boundaries, but there is also times where you want to be able to, like you were saying, you've got someone that, like, if you are invested and you think that there is, like, a future that you can have, you want to be able to kind of meet them. So you got to kind of get out of your own little bubble. You got to be able to step across boundaries. But if they are hard lines, you're not supposed to break those to try and make something work with someone. You're not expected to. You're not supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody expects you to like go against, like, your inner beliefs, because that's what boundaries are, essentially. They're your inner beliefs. They're what you believe in as a person, you know, and it's a lot more stringent, and it's a lot more heavy for men as far as boundaries go, because we all know, like, we're all three men here, and, you know, whoever watches this, I don't care. They could disagree, they can agree, it doesn't matter. The facts don't lie. But women inherently they inherit value. Like, women inherit value. That's why they say unconditional love is for women and children. Men are only loved conditionally, under the condition that they provide something. And so, like, with that, women inherit value. Just because they're a woman, they are valuable to us. Because if you see a woman in distress or getting attacked by some dude, you're going to jump in. Like, as a man, you're going to jump in. Your instincts are going to tell you, jump in and help that woman. Simple, because she has value, because she's a woman. But if a woman walking by sees you getting attacked, she's not going to jump in.
No.
You know why? Because you don't have any value to her. You hold no value to her. But
you're supposed to be able to provide for yourself.
Right. Men have to create their. Women are just born with it. And so men have to create that value for themselves. Women are born with it. And so that's like when you like what I'm getting at with all this is like when you're going through like a break, let's just say like a breakup or something, you know, a woman can go out, like any woman. It doesn't matter really how pretty or not she is or what she looks like, what she wears. It doesn't really matter. She can go to any bar and she could get a guy to come home with her that night. Boom, instantly. It probably wouldn't take her more than 20 minutes. But a man going out to a bar, he's got to work at it. He's got to buy drinks. Down here in Texas, you got to know how to dance. You got to know how to talk to a woman.
Square dance.
1 in 20 shot.
Right, like, yeah. No, we don't do any square dancing. We do a lot of two-stepping, though. And it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I love dancing. I really do. But, you know, like, as a man, you gotta have money. You gotta have money so you can afford the drinks. You gotta buy the drinks. You gotta be able to initiate a conversation. You gotta be able to keep a conversation going. You've got to be interesting enough for her to want to continue to have a conversation with you. You have to be physically attractive. You can't be some 250-pound freaking slob that eats McDonald's and sits on his couch all freaking day and then goes out to the bar, you know, and just looks like a blob. And walking up to this attractive girl, or any girl really, they're going to find that unattractive. Like, you know, one of the first things that a woman looks at is a man's physique based off, like, is he a well-built and put-together man? Could he defend me? Could he hold his own in a fight? Because they look for protection. That's just primal instincts. That's what women look for. And it's nothing against women. You know, this is just the way the world is. This is how it works. It's nothing against women or against
baseline
men.
Reality.
This is just, yes, exactly. This is just the reality of, like, us as human beings. I mean, like, you look at any other species in the animal kingdom, that's how it works. Like men and women each individually have three main reasons why they were created and why they exist in any species. Male and female have three main reasons. The three main reasons for women are to create life, which is beautiful, the miracle of childbirth, to care for life, and to nurture life. Like, those are all beautiful things. Like, they're beautiful. They have inherent value.
Yeah.
Right. Sacred things. They have inherent value. Absolutely. All the reasons that men were created are vulgar and ugly, and they're not beautiful. There's nothing pretty about them. Men were created to protect, which means go to war, go fight the battles, go fight the enemy, go fight off an intruder or someone trying to mug your wife. You know, like, that's what men were created for. So to protect, to provide, that means going out into the working world, doing all the ugly things, the ugly jobs, being a plumber, working in the oil fields, being a cop, you know, whatever, doing all these ugly jobs. There's nothing beautiful about that. It's ugly. Being a welder, whatever. And then the third one, and probably like the most, like, I guess, grotesque one, I guess you could say to an extent, is the third reason men were created was to procreate. Right. That's it. To have sex. That's it. Like, those are our three reasons for existing. Those are women's three reasons for existing. That is just subconscious and primal instincts of man and woman. You can't change them no matter how much you try. Like, nobody's ever going to change those. If you're born a woman, you have those three primal instincts. If you're born a man, you have those three primal instincts.
They're trying to change it a lot nowadays. Nowadays, it's like some crazy transhuman type agenda going on where they're trying to really shatter these.
Give me just 1 second, gents. I gotta jump over and
I was just
do my
say,
security check real quick. Gotta make this money, you know. Gotta make that money.
Dude, I don't know.
Really, I only took this job because the money was so good, and I'm kind of I'm just in a more focused season of training for rodeo right now. Because, I mean, I obviously still rodeo, but this is this is only a part-time gig that this week unfortunately turned into a full-time gig. I had every intention of being in a hotel room tonight while we did this, but that's not happening now. So,
Oh, dude, you're completely fine. You're completely
But-
fine.
yeah, I got roped into working 8 days straight, 12-hour night shifts. So
Dang.
here I am doing this.
As long
but-
as it yields you a fat stack, dude, or a few of them.
Oh,
Get
it pays good.
Get
It definitely pays good. Like for part-time work and for what I'm doing, like it definitely pays good. I mean, I told the guy when he asked me if I wanted a job, I was like, man, I'm telling you what, like I ride bulls for a living. I do exactly what I want when I want every day of my life, and I answer to no one but me and God. Like I make my own schedule,
Yeah.
and I love the way my life is. You know, I thoroughly enjoy my life. I get to do whatever I want. Not a lot of people can say that, you know.
Yeah.
And I worked really, really hard to get here. None of this was handed to me. I mean, you two know how I grew up. Like, my family didn't have everything, you know.
Right.
I wouldn't
yeah.
say we were poor, but you know, like we didn't have it all. You know, we had
yeah.
what we needed. My father made sure we had what we needed. Like we
Right.
never went without, but we didn't have like all the surplus, you know. So getting
Our
here to
region is
where
a
I am,
notoriously low income area. It's
Yep.
I don't really believe that anyone around the area, there's maybe a couple that had it like super well off, but this
Oh,
area
yeah.
is notoriously low income, and it kind of breeds either two types of people. It's either going to be people that can succeed from it, and that'll build like really strong people, really good stock, or it'll
Yep.
breed people that toe that line and kind of sink into it and
Yep. And they give into it. And I see it I see it just about every time I go up there and I visit. Actually, I would say I see it every time I go up there and
Yeah.
visit. Like if I go down, like I like to go down to the bars and whatnot in town, mainly because like all the local bars around the area, they sponsor me for my bull riding, and I really appreciate it. So shout out to Bucks, Rusty Roof, Kellogg Lake, Osceola Hotel, and the Florence Hotel. Like shout out to all them, and if I forgot some, I apologize.
That's awesome.
But you know, they sponsor me, you know, and like they give me something. They do the best they can, and what they give me is like I appreciate it so much. They have
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea how much it means to me, you know. I'm not going to get into numbers or specifics
Well,
because
no, but just to have the support of your hometown
just
and people
yeah.
in your community is huge.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
invaluable.
amazing.
And, like,
yeah, absolutely. And they hang my
themselves,
picture
though,
on the
they're-
wall.
Though they're small,
What's that?
like though they're businesses, they themselves are struggling sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and for them to be willing to help me out, you know, and it's really like help me pursue my dreams and to live this blessed and amazing life that I get to live. You know, it's really humbling, and it's just, I mean, I can't even put it into words like how much it means to me, and I don't think they know how much it means to me that they support me in that way. And it's just incredible to have that kind of support and backing behind you, like other people actually believing in you. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, like when I first started out, you know, as just a hometown kid, you know, like in another state riding bulls, they probably wouldn't have supported me back then, but
Yeah.
you know, I had to put in the work, I had to put in the time, I had to put in the effort, and I had to, you know, put the miles in getting down the road, and I had to go to the rodeos, and I had to go to the practice pens, and I had to train, and I had to go to the schools, and I had to learn, and I had to work on it and I had to do all the legwork, you know, to get where I am now and to build a name for myself so that they would be like, you know what, you've put in a lot of effort, we will support you. You know, it's not that they didn't really like support me or believe in me back then. It's just that they didn't know that they needed to.
Right.
You know, they didn't know that I was out here trying to make this a reality for me. They didn't know that until I approached them about it, or till they started seeing me like actually making this dream come true and making it. And so it's really amazing, and
It's kind of what my
you know-
pop says. My pops has this saying that the good Lord helps those who help themselves. He says it all the time. He's not very
Absolutely.
religious himself, but he says
Absolutely.
that all the time. He says that
Yep.
all the time. So if
Yeah, like,
people
you
see
can't-
you helping yourself, then they're way more likely to
to
extend a hand
lend a helping
to
hand.
help
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
And
Yeah, you can't.
but if they
you can't
see you just
grab
sitting there with your hand out, they want to.
Yep.
My dad says they want to chop that shit off, and I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely, absolutely.
it's the
And
truth.
you can't just stand there leaning on a shovel and pray for God.
Yeah.
Pray to God to dig a hole, like, that's
Yeah.
not how it works, man. So
No.
at some point you're gonna have to grab that shovel, you're gonna have to pick it up, you're gonna have to do some digging.
God
And
works through
that's just how
us.
life. Yes, exactly. I mean, God will definitely clear obstacles out of your path that you didn't even know were gonna be there. And that's where, like, a lot of people, like, I feel, fall off track when it comes to God and, like, having faith and everything, is because they don't see the obstacles. We rarely ever get to see the obstacles that God cleared out of our path.
Right.
We rarely ever get to see that. And so we just go through life like, or like, a lot of people go through life and they're like, I did all this work. God was never there. And it's
Glory
like,
doesn't go to
yeah,
God.
but you didn't see that big rock that almost crushed you that God just held up, like, when it fell off the mountain, and he stopped it midair. And then after it fell and he caught it, it started to rain. So he held it above your head to protect you from the rain and the storm and the thunder. Like, you didn't see that part.
Yeah.
You didn't see that when it happened, but God did. But he was still there. He still helped you, and he still cleared your path. And, like, so I feel like a lot of people, they have a hard time with faith because, they have a hard time with faith because they can't believe in something if they can't physically see it with their own two eyes. Like, they have a hard time with that. But where I was getting at with that, like, going down visiting the local bars and everything, like, when I'm back up home, I like to go down because they sponsor me and they support me, and I like to give back a little bit, have a drink or two and just hang out and chit chat and talk with people. And sure, I get to see some old friends and some people that I know, and talk to people, and they ask me how I'm doing, and it's always, it's always good, and it's a welcoming experience. It's always nice and good company.
Yeah, they're great up there.
But one thing that I've really noticed, and this is not to dig at anybody or to belittle anyone up there or, put anybody down, and I'm not going to mention any names, quite frankly, because I've heard it from a lot of people, and, if I was to start naming names, we'd be here all night. But, like, I hear it from a lot of people up there, and it's, like, what I consider it is, I used to have it, and I used to be the same way. I call it a small town mindset. And I hear the whole woos me's and, like, just working, slaving away. Like, and they say, people say, oh, we're proud of you. Good for you. You were able to get out of here. It's like, look, dude.
Yeah, why can't you?
Why can't you? Like, I made this happen for me. I left New York with a 2013 Chevy Silverado half-ton truck, a U-Haul trailer, and about $300 to my name. I left New York with all my stuff, packed it all up, and headed to Texas on a hope and a prayer and a dream. Like, literally, that's what I had. Like, so you can't sit there and, like, nobody can sit there and tell me, oh, I could never do that. Yes, you could. Could you get your hands on, like, do you have a pickup truck? Most people up there do. So that's a yes. If you don't have a pickup truck, is your vehicle capable of hauling a U-Haul? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. So you can get you a U-Haul. You can get all your stuff loaded in the U-Haul and in your vehicle, and you can have $300 in your bank account, and you can drive to Texas, and you can start a life for yourself. I promise you, anybody can do it. I did it. I'm proof of that. So when I go there, and it's like,
sell half. Sell half your shit. You got the money to do it with.
Exactly. Like, and I mean, I didn't bring everything with me when I moved to Texas. Obviously, I left a bunch of it at my parents' house, but or back on the family farm, what have you. But still, like, I see the small town mindset, the small town attitude, and it's just like, it reminds me so much of the person I used to be, and it makes me very grateful and for what I've become, the trials and tribulations that I've had in my life that have built me and created the man that I am today. And it makes me extremely grateful for those things. and all of the experiences that I've had, good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter, makes me very grateful for those things. But it also tells me that, it also shows me, and I am literally proof. I need no other proof that you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. Like, that's not just a saying. I feel like people think that's just a cliche thing to say, you know, to your buddy or to your girlfriend, or, you know, to your son or daughter or brother or sister, whoever, you know, just to pick them up when they're feeling down. No, that's real. You can do anything if you put your mind to it, and if you truly want something, you can do it. Like I'm telling you, you can make it happen.
Yeah,
you can do it.
This is coming from like, just like, Hank is just the countryest boy from the countryest town.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't grow up with a lot.
He grew up and became a rodeo master, bull riding superstar.
I wouldn't go that far, but you know, I mean, I've done some pretty cool things, and I've accomplished some great things, and you know, like, been through a lot. I mean, you know, you guys know pretty much how, like, growing up there and was. I mean, small town living, and you know, the way I was raised plays a huge role in like who I am today. Absolutely. But I feel also as if I'd have stuck around, you know, and it's nothing against, I'm damn proud of where I come from, and trust me, any one of these Texans or any Southerner in general comes up to me and calls me a damn Yankee, I have the same smart ass response that is also factual information every single time that they say something like that. And it's like, well, you know what? I guess not everybody in life or in the world or in this country, whatever, was created to be able to handle the burden of carrying the weight of being the descendant of a winner on their shoulders. But somebody's got to do it, so I reckon I'm just the man for the job. Sorry, your ancestors were losers. You know, I'm damn proud of where I come from, and you ain't about to talk shit about my hometown, about me being a Yankee without me having some sort of comeback. I don't care. Like, I will defend tooth and nail. But I could see, like, my life turning out just like those folks that I see at the bar that I talk to, and it's not all of them. I'm not saying all of them are like that. But my life could have turned out just the same way. I could have been, you know, just another guy going to the bar 2, 3, 4, 5 nights a week, drinking and just talking about life's problems to the stranger sitting next to me. You know, like, I could very well see that if I'd have stuck around and because offered me what it had, you know, for the years and the time that I was there, and it was good to me. But eventually I just outgrew it, and I had to go. I had to move on. I had to make something bigger and better of myself. And I pride myself on the way I was raised. I'm very grateful to my parents and my grandparents for the way that I was raised. It was not an easy life, but they made it as easy as they possibly could for us. I know I had it a lot better than a lot of kids growing up, even these days. I had it very good growing up. I mean, there was still discipline in the household. Yeah. I mean, if you done wrong, you'd get punished for it. You know, I mean, I caught my dad's belt on my backside a few times. Yep. And, you know, like that, you know, I was...
Nowadays, you go to jail.
Yeah. And I feel that's incredibly wrong. But,
it's, you know, so like, crazy.
It is. And I just, you know, I'm very grateful for the way I was raised. I might have been a little brat or a little douchebag back then to my parents, like get mad about getting your butt blistered. I feel like any kid would do that. Yeah. And I know I did.
Resentful.
You know, resentful, acting like a little snot, acting like a little brat, you know, sure. But, you know, looking back on it as an adult now, like, I don't know if my parents will ever hear this, but Mom, Dad, thank you for the way that you raised me. I love y'all. It just, you know, like, I'm very grateful for the way I was raised. And it definitely helped shape me into the man that I am today, and it helped give me, you know, the necessary tools to go out into the world and pursue this life, to go into the military, that was a dream of mine to become a Marine, and I made that happen. I became a Marine. I got to serve my country, and one of the greatest honors of my life is serving alongside those that I got to. I'm not a hero by any means, but I definitely served alongside a few, and I called more than a few of them my brother, and I still do to this day. And it's a very humbling and very honorable thing, and I feel very honored to have been able to do that for the time period that I did. And it was a great experience. And because of that, the Marine Corps is what led me to rodeo, like kind of unintentionally.
How did the Marine Corps lead you to rodeo? I was curious how you got into the rodeo.
So I was stationed in North Carolina, Camp Lejeune. I was an infantryman down there, and I was just out and about one day, and I remember prior to that day, I should back up a little bit. My parents had come down to visit me at one point in time, and I had found this like Western wear and apparel store. And, I grew up watching John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, right. Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall and Lonesome Dove, one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't care. Watch Tombstone. Where do you think the inspiration for the mustache came from? Mr. Doc Holliday himself. And, Tom Selleck and all those great,
Wild Wild West.
Gunsmoke.
You remember that one?
Gunsmoke. James Arness is Matt Dillon. Anyways, like I grew up with all that. I grew up riding horses. My grandmother used to barrel race and whatnot, and I used to watch rodeo at my grandparents' house, and I always wanted to rodeo, and just never had an opportunity to. And so while I was down there, I had found this Western store, and I'd found this Stetson hat that I really, really liked. And I had never owned a Stetson hat before. My dad had a Stetson hat, though, and I always wanted a Stetson, but I'd never gotten one. One thing I'd never had is a real cowboy hat. And so while they were down visiting, I had told them, like, I'm saving up my money. I'm going to get that hat. It was like a $300-$400 hat, something like that.
Damn.
Might not have been that. Maybe it was a little bit less. I don't remember exactly, but it was this really nice silver belly,
pretty expensive hat. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. A really good quality felt hat, cowboy hat, is very expensive. I've seen hats go upwards of $3,000.
It's a quality thing.
Yep. You pay for quality. And so, I told them I was saving up my money. Well, they surprised me before they left, and they bought the hat for me.
Wow.
And that's what kind of sparked like that. Like it really sparked and brought back to life that inner cowboy.
You wanted to fill that role,
Yeah, it really sparked it. Yeah, it really sparked it. Because I grew up playing cowboys and Indians, and I've had two dreams that have been constants my entire life. Like since I was a little kid. Because back when I was a little kid, I didn't want to be a Marine. That was something that transpired sometime towards the end of middle school, beginning of high school.
I was gonna say,
but it was still a major dream.
School. Like you started the ROTC, or tried to start an ROTC program in our school.
Yes. Yep. And
you were
so
steadfast on that.
Yeah, and so it was like that was something that transpired later on in life. But since I was a little kid, I can remember always having two constants in life as far as dreams go. And one was to eventually marry, have a wife, children, raise my own family, have my own farm, ranch, whatever. And the other one was to become a cowboy, to be a cowboy. I wanted to be a cowboy. And, like I've made one out of those two happen. I can say that I have lived a cowboy's life, both the rodeo cowboy life and an actual cowboy's life, because I spent 2-3 years working ranches down here in Texas. Not to mention I grew up, on my granddad's farm. We rode horses, did some sort of mediocre cowboy stuff there. And, I've lived the cowboy's life, and I love it, and I'm going to continue living it as long as I can and as long as the good Lord allows me. But so they got me this hat, and it kind of reignited that inner desire to be a cowboy. And I started wearing that hat. I was proud as a peacock of that hat. And I wore that hat all over town. I wore it pretty much anytime I was going out. I went to a Lowe's hardware store because I also like to do woodworking. And so I was stopping in there to get some lumber and a couple specialty tools. I was doing a little woodworking project for myself. And one of the workers there, I don't remember his name, is another Marine veteran. He was a Marine veteran. He's out of the Marine Corps, but he lived in the area and worked there at Lowe's. And he's like, hey, he just approached me because he saw my hat and my blue jeans and my pearl snap shirt and my cowboy boots. And he's like, hey, you a bull rider? And I'm like, no, man, I wish. I would love to get into bull riding. And he's like, oh, shoot. He's like, well, I figured with your getup you were, because there's a few of them around here. And I'm like, where the heck? And he's like, oh, yeah, man, right up the road. He's like, I can get you this guy's number and the address to the place. There's a ranch like 45 minutes up the road in Tuscarora, North Carolina. It's called the Hanging Tree Ranch. And, they buck bulls like every Saturday or every other Saturday or something. They have a little rodeo going there. And I'm like, that is so cool. Yeah, get me their number and everything. And I was so excited about this. I got out to that Lowe's parking lot and I called my parents and I was like, I'm going to go become a bull rider. And my mom was freaking out. And she was freaking out. When I'm telling them this. Yeah. Oh yeah. She's like, you're already in the Marines. What more do you need? You're just doing all the dangerous stuff, trying to give your mother a heart attack, I did. I called him as soon as I got out that parking lot and told him I was going to do it. And, I don't think they really fully believed me too awful much, but I did. And I went out there that weekend and I watched a rodeo and talked to the owner, Casey Sprecklemeyer, and him and I were good friends for years. And I still kick myself because I never got to get back out there to see him before he passed away. He had a heart attack a few years back. He was 43 or 44 years old, and he passed away. Yeah, really, really young. And I kicked myself. Young. Yeah, I kicked myself, and I feel really bad for never having taken the time to go back out there and to see not just him, but my other friends as well. And I still haven't to this day, and I really need to. And I plan to one of these days, but I kicked myself because I missed the opportunity to go see Casey again. He taught me a lot about bull riding, and he essentially got me my start. He's the man that started me on this path, and I started riding bulls there at the Hanging Tree Ranch, and then I found out about a place over in Hope Mills, North Carolina, Shady Acres Ranch. They buck bulls. They have rodeos there and whatnot, and they're big into the military rodeo associations and everything. And I got a lot of my upbringing and my start there, and they're really great people. I'm friends with Ed and Sonia to this day. They're amazing people. They're just some of the nicest and most God-fearing people you'll ever meet is just your simple ranchers and farmers. I'd tell you, I've met so many. Yeah, I've met so many good people, genuinely good people, God-fearing people since I've been on this rodeo path. It's astronomical.
So
it
what,
really is. It's
you just
amazing.
go shake hands with one of these good rodeo folk and say, hey, I want to ride bulls, and no class, no permits, no nothing. You just get to get thrown around by a bull.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can do it that way. I mean, there's better ways to go about it, but obviously someone just starting out doesn't know those better ways because they've never done this before.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's obviously better ways to go about doing it. But
that's basically how it shook down for you. You're just like, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, hop on.
Yep. I got on the phone with the guy.
He got the vibe. He went, and he did it.
Yeah.
Yep. I got on the phone with the owner.
We can't turn down this guy.
Nope. He's crazy enough that he's going to come here and do this right now and jump on a bull. You're hired. Come on in. Let's do this.
And actually, Casey Sprecklemeyer there, he is the reason that him and my friend Caleb, Earwood, who is a Marine that I served with. We were rack mates in boot camp. We went through infantry school together. We didn't end up getting stationed in the fleet together, but we were literally like not even a mile away from our barracks. Were literally not even a mile away from each other on base, maybe like half a mile away. And we hung out, and like he rode with me. He used to rodeo too. He used to get on some bulls. But Caleb and Casey, they actually gave me my nickname, Hank the Yank. They were trying to figure out what to call me, like for a nickname. They wanted a nickname for me, and they were like, one day they were like, that's it, it's Hank the Yank. You're from New York, you're a damn Yankee, Hank the Yank. That's your nickname. And it's stuck ever since. That was in 2013. That was the summer of 2013, and it's stuck ever since. And you know, like it's just stuck. And you know what? People can laugh at it. I don't care. I take pride in it. You know,
no, you never give yourself the nickname, even though that nickname I could have seen you giving yourself, but you earned it properly. Someone else gave it to you.
Yeah. No, if it was up to me, I'd just stick with plain old Hank.
Yeah,
but
Hank.
If it had been up to me, you know, but yeah, and so that's where the nickname originated from, was right there in North Carolina. And actually, I think my buddy Matt Dunn had a hand in that, naming me too. So it might have been the three of them, not just Caleb and Casey. But anyways, shout out to Matt if he hears this. What's up, buddy? Love
you. Shout out, Matt.
Yep. But you know, I've met so many good people through rodeo, just amazing people, God-fearing folk, and just, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, you know, every group has its bad eggs. It's got its few and whatnot. And sure, I've met some people that were not so great through rodeo. But the amount of people that I've met that are truly amazing people, no matter where I am, it's not just Texas, it's not just North Carolina or Kansas or New Mexico or Arizona or out in California or Pennsylvania, New York or Florida or South Carolina, Tennessee, Ohio, or anywhere I've traveled to, Alaska. Like I've rode bulls and rode rodeo all over this country, literally. And you know, it's not just any one place, it's everywhere. Like everywhere I go where there's rodeo, you won't find more people who are more patriotic, who are more God-fearing, who are more just incredible, amazing, willing to help you out, like kind of people.
Like in the Bible, you got the Genesis thing where it tells you to be like a steward of the earth. You're supposed to be a steward of the earth. You're supposed to take care of it. And what is like a rodeo person? They're like they're cattlemen. They're cattlemen, so and they take care of animals and farming. It's like you're closer to God doing like your more natural thing as a human being. You're taking care of the land in your community, and it brings you closer, and it kind of stands to reason in my mind that you would find like some of the better quality people in circles like that. And especially with farmers too. Farmers are the same way. They're doing the same thing, and they live
raised by farmers.
Tough lives, but they also are extremely rewarding, and you end up getting people that are kind of a different caliber, a different breed really of people that have a very, very steady and strong faith and pretty connected with the Lord and the way their lives work out with certain things. It's
and you notice
touched,
that, like,
it's blessed.
Yeah, and you notice in other areas of life also, like majority of like those that go and serve in the military were raised in those kinds of backgrounds.
Yep.
And, you know, like you see that all over, but, you know, that's essentially, just like you said, mentioned in Genesis, they're ranchers, farmers. They are the caretakers of the earth. Right. They, you know, that's what they do for a living. They take care of God's creation, you know, like whether it be his animals as livestock, or it be the earth itself, Mother Earth,
Yep.
tilling the fields and plowing the fields and planting a crop and
their
reaping the
community
harvest.
inadvertently, because
Yeah.
then they're feeding
Yep.
people with their food. I
Absolutely.
mean, that's a huge thing.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's given out.
It goes full circle. It goes full circle. And yeah, you really meet those just true blue, salt of the earth kind of folk. And
good people.
It's amazing, I
This
mean,
is why I wanted to have you on, Hank, because you're, like I said,
Hey.
the exemplary example of that. And
Exemplary
it just
example.
goes to show.
I appreciate that.
I need that on a t-shirt. And it just goes to show
something.
that, like, this thing that we're talking about with the family and community, and building that up and emphasizing that generation after generation, like, it's just a better way. It is a better way.
yeah,
It breeds
absolutely.
better people. It
Absolutely.
it lets God
this modern
come into everybody.
This modern destruction of the nuclear family is just, it's wreaking havoc on our society as a whole these days. And like,
I'm pro biblical family. Like, once they stop
Absolutely.
being polyamorous,
That's-
biblical family,
that's-
have
that's
like
pretty
20
much-
kids. Have as many kids as you have. Nuclear family was like,
Yeah.
have 3 kids. And it's like, no, we're gonna have like 7 to 12 kids. Have as many.
I think with the
Army.
what I mean by when I say nuclear family,
No,
and
I
everybody's
know.
definition
I'm
of
just
things
being
differentiate. Like,
hyperbolic.
definitely, I am, like 100% for the biblical, family and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, I know there's plenty of people probably going to hear, anything I got to say, and it's like, well, I know for a fact you've done this. And it's like, yes, I have. I have sinned. I will admit to my sins.
Oh yeah,
Right.
we all do.
I have been a sinner, and I lived the life of a sinner, and I still sin. I still do. I'm not perfect. I still sin. We all sin. I guarantee you two still sin.
Yep.
Everyone sins. We all fall short of the glory of God.
Yep.
But what is important is that we repent and that we make honest attempts to change our ways. And
That's a
like,
fact.
Strive to be closer to God.
yes, absolutely. And
His will,
so
not
I
our own.
don't do things like what I used to do. Like, I know there's people that from our hometowns and our home school that like, they don't have very high opinion of me. Like, there's kids that we graduated with, there's kids that we all went to school with. I guess can't call them kids now, they're grown adults. But they don't have very high opinion of me. And you know what? We saw that the other day. The 3 of us were, you two stepped in and had my back on a social media post, and that was awesome. I was, that was really great. You guys stepping in and providing a little bit of relief for me there. Like, that meant a lot, that I had people in my corner and actually believed what I was saying. It wasn't just me versus the world, which, don't get me wrong, if it is me versus the world, it doesn't matter. I'm going to win. I've got God on my side.
Yeah.
I've got God on my side, so you know what? Like, you're not going to beat God. You might beat me, but you're not going to beat God. And you know what? Even if you beat me, God's going to bring me back up. He's going to raise me back up. It's that simple.
That's the problem with social media. When people disagree at all, it seems like they hate each other. And like, who's to even say?
Yeah,
they
turn to violent.
Yeah, we're just disagreeing.
They turn to
like,
violent
I don't think
words.
anybody has a negative opinion of you.
They turn to violent words, and they let emotion, like, a lot of the problem with society these days is they turn to emotion, and they allow their emotions to dictate their actions and the words they speak. And I'm not saying that that's not always acceptable, because at times it is, but
It's warranted at times.
It is warranted at times, absolutely. But when you engage in a conversation with somebody, like, if it's like a controversial topic or something like that, and somebody is using statistical facts and they're basing things off averages and numbers and all that, and going off facts, you jumping in with your personal story and making this all about you, that's extremely self-righteous. That shows me that you're just here to collect attention from everybody else because you want the woos me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry you went through that. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever the case may be. And also the fact that you're not sticking with the baseline of the conversation or the topic at hand, because we're not talking about just your story. We're talking about the stories of thousands, hundreds of thousands of men and women across the nation, across the world. Like, really, it's only this nation, because in other nations, like, you look at like, at least with that social media post that we were commenting on the other day, which was actually my post that I made, and it received a lot of controversy, but I don't care. You'll notice I haven't taken it down. I'm not going to back down. No, I'm not going to back down from my beliefs just because somebody else disagrees with them. Now, if you prove me wrong, if you show me facts,
that's a different story.
That say, Hank, you're wrong. Okay, I will concede. I was wrong. You were right. Totally understandable. But nobody was able to do that in that whole comment section. It was all mostly just feelings and emotions and
personal stories.
Personal stories. And it's like, I'm not attacking your personal story.
Right.
I'm not. I'm really not. Like, I'm not coming after you. I'm using in general facts. Like, don't come at me because somebody else did something horrible to you.
The reason
exactly.
Right. That's not my fault, you know?
Like, the reason these people personally feel damaged by the thing that we're talking about is why we're talking about the thing. Is so that you can understand. And it's the topic that we brought up in the beginning, like relationships. Like, the post was about relationships. And so, like, what it takes to actually be in a relationship. And, like, the original post, the girl just willy-nilly dumps her boyfriend over some BS. And we're trying to talk about how, like, no, you should actually, like, strive to keep your relationship together when you're married because you're married.
It wasn't boyfriend. It was a husband.
It was a husband,
and she divorced.
Yeah, and all of her friends and her family are like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Like, everybody's like questioning you. Like, are you sure you want to do this? But you're going to go through with it anyways.
And, like, of course, both parties are disenfranchised. Like, part of your original take is that, like, now the wife is single, the kids have split parents. Like, it's not just the dude. We're not only talking about the dude's perspective. Like, everybody is fucked from that.
Yeah, and if you research it, like, you know, and a part of my point in that post there, if you research it, like, statistically speaking, 75% of all adults who are currently incarcerated in our nation came from single mother households. Like, you know, the statistics don't lie. Like, you can't argue with statistics and facts. You can try, but you're going to end up with the short end of the stick no matter what you do, because you can't disprove what statistics have already proven to be factual. Like, unless there's a significant increase of incarcerations that occur within the next 2 days of or the next 5 minutes of, like, individuals who do not come from single mother or single parent households or
integrated houses,
actually realistically, I think I said single parent households, but like that 75% is not from a single parent household. That 75% rating is from a single mother household. They are raised by a single mother primarily, and you know, that just goes to show right there, like, you know, and I am not trying to, like, I'm not trying to come off as sexist or anything like that, because I'm not. I'm not sexist at all. I'm not a misogynist or anything like that. I have dealt with plenty of misandrists who hate men and don't agree with what I have to say. But, you know, I've come across plenty of those. And
that's accepted nowadays. You can can do that. You can hate on men all day long.
Yes, misandry is accepted
by society.
Yep, that's acceptable, but to be a misogynist is not. To be a misandrist is, but a misogynist, no.
Shouldn't be either.
So, no, it neither should be. It's just like racism. It shouldn't be, you know, like, it should not even exist, you know? And, but it comes, like, it just goes to show, these statistics go to show, like, you know, women are out here preaching they want equality in everything. But what really ends up happening is, unfortunately, literally 99% of the time, maybe 98% of the time, at least in my experience anyways, women want equality only when it suits them. They don't want equality when it comes to the hard choices in life, when it comes to the hard things in life, just like signing up for the draft. That is a man's responsibility. That is a man's duty. Women don't have to sign up for the draft. They don't have to. I mean, I understand women can go serve their country. They can go off and serve. And you know what? I applaud those that do. I really do. Do 100%. I think from a biblical point of view and from a gentleman's point of view that a woman should go off and serve her country, fight in combat? No, absolutely not. I disagree with it. I don't think they should be forced to. I don't think they should be you got to understand me here, from a biblical point of view and from a gentleman's point of view. From the point of view of chivalry, I do not think women should be allowed to serve in combat. And it goes back to like the primal instincts thing. Women were created for three main reasons. Men were created for three main reasons when it comes down to the bare bones basic instincts of like the reason why we exist, right? Everything women are created for is beautiful. It is beautiful. Why would anyone want to sabotage or ruin that beauty, that purity, by sending it off to war, to allowing it to see the inhumane treatment?
Somebody's going to argue, what if you have like big, huge, muscular, buff, giant woman that would be great for war? Breed her up and make warriors. Like keep her at home and breed her and make warriors. Like
I think it's like I don't know.
Understandable, but here's the thing: like she can be that, but it doesn't change. That doesn't change. Like physical features do not change.
Yeah.
The original intent for why we were created as individuals, man and woman. Exactly, it does not change her like role in society as a woman. It doesn't change my role in society as a man. Like we all have roles to fill. Men and women just fill different roles. Men are better at certain things than women are. Women are better at certain things than men are, and that's never going to change. You cannot, as a whole, if you look at it as a vast majority, you can't change that. Yes, I understand there are few rare circumstances. Absolutely. But why would you want to destroy that beauty, that purity? Why would you want to destroy something so precious by sending it off to war to witness inhumane scenes and atrocities and just like, you know, naivety. There are things that men can do. There are things that men can do to other men. Like that quote from the movie Fury. Just wait until you see. Wait until you see what another man is capable of doing to a man, to a human. What one human being is capable of doing to another human being. Just wait until you see. It is awful. It is horrible. It's hell. Why would we send our most precious people, women, our most beautiful creatures in our species off to have to witness that, to be scarred forever? We all know women don't handle mental trauma as well as men do. Men are stronger for a reason. We can handle mental stress. Like you think about a man's everyday life, right? And all these women out here that think, oh, I'm a part of the workforce when they go to an office job. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Cool. You're out there, you're working, you're making a living. But you know what? If we took away your office job right now, could society still continue? Absolutely it could.
Yeah.
But now let's reverse that. If we took away all the jobs that men fill right now, could society carry on as it is, or would it fall on its face and fail?
Yeah.
It would fail, right? Absolutely it would fail.
That's a way to dirty,
rebel. Grimy work.
That's how we rebel. Yeah. All the girls go home and stop working. That would be great. Hey, that would fuck the system.
Like, I think, honestly, in my personal opinion, it is not to say that women can't do a job. No, I don't think any man out there is trying to say that women can't do a job. It's not even that they shouldn't have to. I'm saying that coming from a gentleman's point of view, from a chivalrous point of view, if you're my woman, I don't want you to.
Right.
I don't want you to have to suffer those those stressors, those hardships of the workforce, of the working world, of society, the cruelty of it. I don't want you to, no, my job as a man is to protect you and provide for you. I want to be able to do that as a man, as a future husband, hopefully, God willing, someday, perhaps. And, if it's not in God's plan, so be it. He has a plan for my life, and I will embrace it fully, and his will shall be done here on earth as it is in heaven. But as a gentleman, coming from a gentleman's point of view, coming from a chivalry point of view, a point of view from chivalry, because it is not completely dead. I don't care what they say. Yeah. Granted, feminism has done a very good job at trying to kill it. Right. I will say feminism has done a very good job at trying to kill it, and they're pretty close to succeeding. But there's plenty of us holdouts out there. I do firmly believe that. I know I'm personally one of them. But my wife, if my future wife, even my future girlfriend, I don't want her going out into the working world. I want her life to be comfortable. I want to be able to give her everything that she's ever wanted, or everything that she needs. Maybe not everything that she's ever wanted, because that's gluttony. That's a little bit too much. And that's a sin. But everything that she needs, I want to provide her AC in the summertime, heat in the wintertime, a house with a roof over it, food in the cabinets, okay. If you're going to, you're a wife, if a wife's point of view, you're married, you stay at home, the man provides, you take care of the home. He takes care of everything outside of the home. He provides the freaking home. The least you could do is take care of it. You know what I mean? It's kind of they all say, you hear women complain about, I do all the cooking, I do all the cleaning, I take care of the kids, I do all this, I do all that. It's what about all the stuff that you don't see your man do? Right. What about when the gutters need to be cleaned? When the gutters got to be cleaned, who does that? I guarantee she doesn't, but I also guarantee, because it wasn't done right in front of her face, or because it's not something that she readily sees or realizes is a problem or a thing every day of her life, that she does, it goes unnoticed, goes completely unnoticed. Mowing the yard, she doesn't do it, he does it, and she probably doesn't even notice it. She just knows the yard is mowed once a week. That's all she knows. It's mowed once a week. The grass is cut. She might be in the house, off in La La Land, doing whatever, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, whatever. He's out there mowing. She doesn't even hear the mower running. She doesn't even know he's out there doing it. Cutting firewood. If, we did that growing up. I used to cut and split firewood throughout the summer with my dad and my grandfather to put heat in the home through the winter. Yeah. My mom never had to come out there and help. Did she on occasion? Absolutely. Yeah, she did. She came out and she helped. Sure. It wasn't
expected of her.
It wasn't right,
and it was not expected. Either. And if she did come out to help, and I'm not knocking my mother. I love you, Mom, so please don't take it that way if you ever hear this. But the way that she did help, Mom would come out there and she would sit on a stool or a chair, or sit on the tire, or just stand there, and she would run the lever on the log splitter. We would put the logs on, and she would run the lever, and it would split the log, and we would catch the logs as they fell off. So that was Mom helping us. She didn't help stack. She didn't help split. Well, I mean, I guess kind of she helped split, but it was just running the lever. But she didn't help stack the wood. She didn't help cut the wood. She didn't help drag the logs out. She didn't help do any of that. She just ran the lever, and that was her helping. Which I'm not saying that it wasn't appreciated. It was appreciated. We appreciated it. But it's, she came out and helped, yes, but like y'all said, she wasn't expected to. She was never expected to. But all those things that go on outside the home that are the man's responsibility, the fixing the plumbing, making sure the electrical's good, making sure the roof is good, making sure your oil is changed, the tires on your vehicle have air in them. Those are things I feel like most women just take them for granted. Most, not all, but most women just take them for granted. They take those little things for granted, and they just look at it like all he does is go to work, and he's there for 12 hours, big whoop, and he comes home, he sits down, drinks a beer, eats some dinner, and watches football, and then he goes to bed. And that's literally what they think. That's what they think a man's life is.
It's what they've been
Right.
told to think, because this
Right.
is something that me and Dave have discussed in previous episodes. This divide that's happening between men and women modernly is
Yeah.
it's an effort. It's a intentional sabotaging of kind of the fabric of society. It weakens us as a nation, weakens us
Yes.
as a people, and it makes it a lot easier to kind of rule over us if we're bickering at each other over. This is what we're talking about right now. This is something that was so accepted and so known, and just because it's baseline reality type shit.
Yep.
If you really want to boil it down, this is baseline, just being a human being level shit that was just understood, and it was accepted
Yep.
because it was apparent, and it was supported because people lived in reality. They didn't live in ideals. They didn't live in
Philosophy.
dressed up philosophies that don't work, but they sound good. They didn't live
Yeah.
in sound good. They lived in what worked and what's real. And
Yeah,
nowadays, we
absolutely.
are not seeing that. That's not.
Nope.
We're seeing a slight return back, because people that fuck around and find out thing is applying on a grand scale, on a society-wide
Yep.
scale. This
Yeah.
this experiment that's going on with trying to hyper-masculinate women is turning out to not yield the fruit that I think people at the head of these corporations pushing these agendas, or the head of these institutions, it's not yielding the fruit that they wished it would.
Yeah.
It's
And the-
and
and
that's
the
what
main-
sucks, is that we have so many good men out here and good women out here that are just trying to make it, and there's just so much of this pollution in the sphere of information, in the sphere of society right now, that it's
Yep.
causing so much of a friction. And I would just we got to get back to a little bit of like baseline reality, and like in a gracious way. We need to be kind of gracious about it. And
Amen.
like with this post, it's like what you posted up, it was slightly instigatory. You could take it if you wanted to, just
Sure,
because of
sure.
certain things.
Yeah.
But
I will admit to
also-
that. And my language in it at the start of it, my language in it was not
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
professional, was not very clean, and it could be deemed offensive. Totally understandable, and I
But
apologize for that.
you
I owned
gotta
up to it, and I
read
went
it.
through and I changed it. Yeah, no,
You
read the
gotta
facts. Don't just
read it.
don't just hyper focus on one one thing, like and it's and people want to come at you like, oh well, like the Bible says not to judge, like do not judge, for you also shall be judged. But
Yep.
but on the contrary, the Bible tells us, God tells us, that we should call out sin so that others
Yeah.
may see this sin and they shall fear it. Like
I think
they shall live in
judgment-
fear of it. They should live in fear of the judgment, not the fear of the sin itself, but
Yeah.
fear of judgment from God, because God is the only thing,
that can actually
the only
judge.
being that can actually judge. But God is the only being in the universe that anyone should fear. Like
Yeah.
it's the only thing we should have fear of. Fear of the Lord, that is it. Maybe you know what? Maybe fear of a grandmother's wrath. Because my grandmother's wrath, like that was scary. Like that was almost godlike. So
Yeah.
I could totally get that. But but really, like it's just like the Bible calls us, like it tells us to call out the sin of others. And I
Yeah.
understand, let him who is without sin cast the first stone. I understand the whole concept. I get it. That's just a reiteration of do not judge others. I'm not like in that post, I wasn't judging someone.
Yeah.
We're not
I was
condemning
calling
to
out
hell.
their sin, holding them. I'm not condemning them.
Right.
I'm calling them out. I'm holding them accountable. I'm making
Exactly.
facts known, and I'm putting emphasis on a very controversial topic, which no matter how much people like it, dislike it, whatever the case may be, no matter what the case is, like you can't deny the facts. You can't deny truth. It doesn't matter. Like, the truth may hurt. That's good. The truth is intended to hurt. It's supposed to hurt.
When
and
you're
if the
not
truth
living in
hurts
it.
you, well, actually, I shouldn't say it like that. The truth is not intended to hurt. The truth is intended to educate. But
Yep.
it is a good thing if the truth hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. That is a sign for you to do some self-reflection as an individual and to change some things about yourself. Because if the truth hurts you, then guess what?
You're
that
not
means
living in
some
it.
of what that truth is speaking is it's factual and it's real inside of you, and that's
It's
not a
hitting
good
you.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hitting
You're
you
feeling
hard
it.
because you know that's describing you and you don't like it, because the truth can describe things in a negative or a positive way. The truth is not meant to belittle, to haze, to discriminate, or
It's
anything
meant
like
to show
that.
light.
It's meant to, yes, it's meant to shed light on something and to bring it to the light, essentially. And that's where the disconnect, I feel, is, because you notice that on that post primarily there's a lot of females that were commenting on it.
Oh, yeah.
They're majority females commenting on it. And so what we can infer from that is,
It hurts some of their feelings.
right, but like based off just basic human psychology, men make their decisions in life based off fact and logic. Like we make our decisions based off factual information and logic, right? What is reasoned? Like, I'm going to make a decision like, you know what? When Trump was in office 8 years ago, gas prices were the lowest I've ever seen them in my entire life. And you know what? Then Biden came and took over. Gas prices skyrocketed. Well, now we're in a new election. Who am I going to vote for? Am I going to vote for Trump or am I going to vote for Biden? Well, Trump had this economy he had it proof, like there's rock solid proof. For 4 years, our economy was great. I was doing great, making $1,800 a month as a ranch hand. I thought times were great for me when Trump was in office at that point in time. And then Biden came in. I would have never been able to survive off $1,800 a month as a ranch hand. I had to go out and get a job as a welder. And I started making $25, then $30, then $36 an hour finally before I left my job and went and chased rodeo. But so I use the facts and the logic to base my voting decisions on. And then you see a vast majority, like feminists primarily. I'm not saying all women do this. I'm saying vast majority, feminists especially. They're out here, oh, Trump said this mean and hurtful thing, and that hurt my feelings, or that made me feel a certain way. So I'm not going to vote for him. I'm going to go vote for Joe Biden, even though there's proof out there that he diddles little kids. Yeah. And his son does drugs. Trump has the picture perfect freaking family, and Biden has a son that does drugs, and God knows what his other kids do, and Biden himself inappropriately touches little children. That doesn't exactly sound like somebody I want to be the leader of the free world. But because Trump said something mean and distasteful and something that hurt people's feelings, we're not going to vote for him. That is the whole point. That's the point that I'm kind of getting at with that comment section. You notice that majority of them were women, and you notice that also those women were bringing in personal experiences when the topic of the conversation was not about your personal experience. Right. The topic of that conversation was about the statistics as a whole. Yeah. Yes, the broad picture, the bigger picture. Yeah. And, that is that I feel like is the problem. Sorry, I'm getting up, moving around. I got to do my job for a minute real quick.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
But that I feel like as a whole is the broader spectrum. It's a problem in today's society because that just goes unchecked because we allow it to. And that ultimately, when you want to boil it all down to accountability and who to hold responsible and all that, in my personal opinion, and this may hurt to hear it, boys, but I'm going to say it anyways. I don't like hearing it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's the truth. Ultimately, it comes down to no matter what happens in life, it's always going to be a man's fault. It'll always be our responsibility, and it'll always be our obligation and our responsibility and our duty to correct it, to fix it. That is never going to change. It has never changed. Why do you think we're in this mess? Let's look at this as a grand, as a grand big old picture. And this is going to be extremely controversial right here. So I hope y'all are ready to catch a little bit of flack on your podcast here about what I say next. But I'm going to say it anyways. And again, I'm speaking about the majority. I'm not speaking about all women. I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about the majority and the actions of the majority. So there's a bunch of women out there that I know are good, sound-minded people that make good, logical, and factual decisions. Do they still break stride and make decisions with feelings and emotions involved and use them heavily to influence their decisions? Yes, absolutely they do. I've seen them do it.
A lot of men do today too nowadays.
Yes, a lot of men do today as well, but that's the emasculation of society these days. Like, to be masculine is deemed bad. And, you know, there's this phrase out there, it's called, I laugh at it, and it's completely redundant and it's ignorant to even acknowledge it or say it and use it with any type of intended intellectual context, but toxic masculinity makes me laugh.
Awful.
It makes me laugh because the two words right next to each other and the way they're intended to be used, they literally, by textbook definition, they contradict each other and they do not work together. Yes, exactly. Because if something is truly masculine, it cannot be toxic. There is the absence of toxicity. If something is truly toxic, then there's the absence of true masculinity. It's just like good and evil.
The same thing on our last episode is just that you're not a man. Like, if you, like, we were talking about obscene shit. Like, if you like children, you're not a man. Like, if you are going to abuse women, you're not a man. If you're not going to protect women, you're not a man. If you're not going to do these things, you're not a man. It's not masculine. You're not a man.
Absolutely.
You're a bitch, you're a boy.
Feminism, exactly. Feminism has brought this around, and that, like, that right there, like you mentioning that you're a bitch and you're a boy, or not you specifically, but those guys are, not you. I didn't mean that like you specifically, but a lot of women are extremely confused these days. I would say a vast majority, because you hear, like, you notice in that comment section, all those women that commented, they say men do this, men do that, men do this, men do this, like, or a man did this to me, or a man did that, and it's like, no. You're wrong. You're instantaneously wrong. A boy did that to you because you don't know the difference. You were not educated by your father or by your mother or by both of your parents, and you haven't taken the time as an adult, because, sorry to say it, you don't live with your parents anymore. You're 18, you're an adult now. You wanted all this equality and all these rights. Guess what?
You're out now.
Take responsibility for it. Educate yourself, because now you're an adult. It's no longer your parents' fault for your upbringing. Now it's your freaking responsibility to change, to create who you are, whether that be a good person or a bad person or a mediocre person or whatever. Now it's your responsibility, individual, personal responsibility, but we all know accountability for majority of women is their kryptonite. Again, I said majority, not all. So anyways, most women these days, they're confused. I feel like they're confused because they don't know the difference between a man and a boy. They don't. They're going and they're finding fuck boys, and they're trying to get in long-term relationships with fuck boys.
It's literally in the name. They're calling them fuck boys, and they're like, men are terrible. And it's like, no, men are great. But fuck boys are terrible.
But they sit there and they find this fuck boy, and they're like, oh, he's a good man. And it's like, no, bitch, you're wrong.
They're confused.
Like, sorry, you're freaking wrong. That's not a man. That's a fuck boy. That's a little bitch. That's a bitch boy. Whatever. That's not a man. And all these girls are sitting here in the comments. All these ladies are sitting in the comments, and they're like, men do this. It's like, you're instantaneously wrong, because you're calling fuckboys men. They were never men to begin with, and they damn sure are not gentlemen. You have to first be a man before you can be a gentleman, and they literally all fail on both accounts. So you literally can't use that as an argument. Men do this, men do that. No, absolutely not. You can't do that. Now, granted, there isn't really a standard for what it entails to be called a woman. There's no so yeah, all women, sure, we can generalize that. There's no standard, but if you want to be considered a wife, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. If you want to be considered a wife, if you want to be a wife, then yeah, sure, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
But, you know, like, and that's why the Bible says that, you know, he who finds a wife, not he who goes out, meets a pretty girl at the bar,
and
starts dating a pretty girl, makes her his girlfriend, proposes to said pretty girl, and then a year or so later makes her his wife. No, that's not what the Bible says.
No.
The Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. That means when I meet you, when we initiate conversation, you are either a wife or you will never be a wife to me. It is that simple. That's a part of like what we talked about earlier with boundaries. That right there, that's a very hard line boundary for me. Like if
100%.
if I get to know you and like you're not wife material, yeah, we're done. Because I can't make you a wife. I can't make you into anything. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
You gotta want to be.
Like, exactly. You have to want to be, and you have to put in the work and the effort to be a wife. And that's the problem. Most women these days don't want to actually be wives. They don't want to. They want the title. They want the ring. They want the marriage certificate.
For the Facebook status.
Yep, the Facebook status. They want the attention, but they don't want the duties, the responsibilities, the obligations of a wife. They don't want that.
Right.
And you know what? Like, it's, you know, I'm tired of hearing all the crap about, oh, well, I do all the cooking, I do all the cleaning, I do all the house. I'm sorry, but that is the job of a wife. Yeah, am I saying that your husband can't help you every now and then? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that, you know, as a husband, I wouldn't, you know what?
If you see your wife struggling, you're not going to help her. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do these dishes for her so she ain't got to. Like, you know, like, as a husband, that's something I would do. Not just freaking, like, walk past it and be like, that's that bitch's job. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. As a husband, my job is to make her life more comfortable. That's my job, to make sure that she lives in comfort. And so, yeah, you know what? Like, I walk by the sink, there's some dishes. You know what? Like, if I'm not dead exhausted, dead on my feet, if I'm, like, had a pretty decent day, you know what? Like, yeah, I'll pitch in. I'll help out. But the biggest problem I've noticed, especially in my past relationships, is stuff like that becomes an expectation.
Yeah.
So once you make things like that an expectation, that makes the other person not want to do them. But if you maintain a point of view of appreciation and gratitude, like, don't expect me to do it, but when I do it, you are appreciative of the fact that I do it, you know, like, that's what makes the household copacetic, and that's what makes it work, like, functionally together, because the man appreciates what the woman does inside the house, and he expresses that. And I feel like that's a problem too that us men have these days, is we don't express our gratitude and our appreciation for all the things that our wives do for us. And you know what? That is a problem. We do need to fix that. We as men need to be better. We need to be better. So be better, men. Y'all need to be better. But and I'm not just talking about you two. I'm talking about every man that hears.
Oh yeah. No, dude.
Be
for sure.
Better. Absolutely. Be better, men. But anyways, that's a problem as well. But it's also, that's a double-edged sword, because like I was saying, cleaning the gutters, mowing the lawn, fixing that flat tire, changing your oil, making sure there's gas in your car, because we all know women like to run their vehicles until they're empty and then be like, oh, I didn't know I didn't have enough gas. You know, like, they don't like to stop and fill up. They like to just right home, you know. But anyways, you know, like, those little things, doing all that stuff, like the upkeep of the house and everything, the stuff that goes unnoticed, that it isn't visibly seen, but the rewards are felt and no appreciation is shown for it. Like, works both ways. Like
Yeah, it
we
would
both,
demoralize the hell out of anybody.
yes, absolutely. And it makes you not want to do those things.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
like it's very so like going back to what I was saying, where people are probably gonna like very much so dislike me and not like what I have to say here. But either way, going back, ultimately men hold all the responsibility. We hold all of it. We hold all the obligation, all the duty. Anything that's wrong, it is up to us to fix it. We accept that as men. I accept it as a man. I do.
Yeah.
Am I going to walk through life with a freaking big old smile on my face and just be gleeful and cheerful about, oh, you know, women or this person or that person, or I fucked this up and I'm just gonna go through all willy-nilly? No, I'm probably not. I'm gonna stomp around, I'm gonna bitch, piss, and moan a little bit, but then I'm gonna get to it and I'm gonna get the job done, right?
Yeah.
But so we have to own this as men. The reason why society, it's our fault. It's our fault as men. I firmly believe this. It's not the women's fault. It's not the women's fault.
Nope.
That our society is fucked up the way it is. You want to know why? I can give you one statistical fact. Actually, I'll give you two statistical facts that prove my point right here and now. So, since probably, I'd say the first 20, 30 years of it, we were doing okay. We did okay because the biblical nuclear household, whatever you want to call it, was not destroyed quite yet, but it was in the process of being torn apart. So for the first 20, 30 years, what?
It was in a majority still, like
holding. It was still in a majority, absolutely. And so society was good, things were good, life was good. But after that, you know, right around Vietnam era, I'd say, is when the decline of this country really started happening. If you look back historically at our nation's history, the decline started, like the big portion of the decline, I would say, started maybe beginning of Vietnam, middle of Vietnam, somewhere around there. But where did it actually start? And a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but it's when we gave women the right to vote.
Yeah.
It's when we gave women the right to vote that society as a whole started to collapse. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and preach that men and women are in no way, shape, and form equal. Yeah. They are equal. Men and women are equal, but only in one respect. There's only one respect that men and women are equal. And that is in moral worth. Moral worth and value. Because as a majority, as a vast majority, I'm not talking about the few exceptional powerlifting women that are out there competing in triathlons and can bench press 600 pounds. I can't bench press 600 pounds, you know, and I'm sure there's some iron woman out there who can. You know what? Good for her, whatever. But I'm not talking about those few exceptions. I'm talking about the vast majority of women and the vast majority of men. Based off just the basic factual information about the basic majority of men, the basic majority of women, those men are always going to be stronger than the women. We hold the monopoly on force.
Yep.
Because no matter what, who gave women the right to vote? We did. The men did. We gave them the right to vote back when we did, what was it, the 19th Amendment, I believe, in 1929, I think it was. If I might be wrong, feel free to fact check me on that if I am wrong, and call me out on it. But anyways, we gave women the right to vote. So therefore, women walking around and saying, oh, equality this, equality that, it's like, well, here's the thing. Like, go over to Iraq or Syria or Somalia and look who has no rights. Like look who gets treated like crap, the women, right? Yeah. Why is that? Because the men hold the monopoly on the force. If all the men in this country just one day woke up and they were like, you know what? I'm sick of this feminist crap. And we just said, you know what? No, you do not have the right to vote anymore. You don't have a voice anymore. Yeah. You're going to sit down, shut up, and you're going to freaking listen. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're not going to do a damn thing. They can't. We hold the monopoly on force, we as men. And it's amazing to me, like, you know, think back to when you were like in elementary school, right? Or even in middle school or high school. You would not walk up to, like, I'll tell you one guy, and I'm going to use his name, and it's not in an offensive way, so don't worry about that. But there is a guy that went to our school. He graduated quite a few years ahead of all three of us. But he's a really good friend of mine. I love this dude to death. I respect the hell out of him. He's a damn good man, like a really good person. And so is his father, his family. They're great people. Ryan Angst. I don't know if you guys ever knew him, but this kid, dude, he was a mountain of a man back when he was in high school. He wrestled, and I mean, he was just big. I mean, arms the size of my freaking head, right? And me, like tree trunks for freaking arms, right? Me, like, as a young kid, like, I knew him, like, mainly, like, he was never in high school when I was in high school. I just rode the school bus with him because back then, middle schoolers and high schoolers still rode the bus together. And in 6th grade, like, I knew him from when we were little kids, but, like, met him again when I was in 6th grade, and he was a high school student. I think he was in, like, 11th or 12th grade. I think he was in 11th grade when I was in 6th grade, and I only had, like, 2 years with him, but, like, riding the bus with him anyways. But that big dude compared to me, 6th grader me, 7th grader me, I was a little freaking toothpick. I didn't have my blow up until high school. Like, I was like in middle school, I was probably like 120 to 140. And then I went into freshman year, I think at $135, and I graduated high school at like, I want to say I graduated high school at, I was right around 200 pounds.
Yeah, you were a tall son of a bitch, bro. You got tall quick, and then you got like a lot of muscle on you because you were doing like all the lifting and shit with training for the military and everything. You sprouted up pretty freaking hardcore.
Yeah, and I wasn't a fat kid, but you know, like I wasn't a fatty. I was muscular. I was built because I worked out every day. I ran every day. I was like training my mind and my body to get ready for the Marines. Well, I'll tell you what, that little toothpick kid of me, like, this is the way I look at it as far as like women and compared to men. You know, like I look at it like that 6th grade version of me is the woman, and that Ryan Angst guy is us as men. Like, I would have never in my dizziest daydreams
been able to do anything.
I would have never bucked up to him, like tried to pick a fight with him, because I know for a fact that dude would kick my ass. He would beat the hell out of me. You know, like I knew that for a fact. Like, he would beat the ever-living daylights out of me. So it blows my freaking mind because, like I just said, men hold the monopoly on force across the globe, like all over the world. We hold the monopoly on force. We are naturally stronger than women. And, you know, now, granted, just like Uncle Ben said, frickin' with great power comes great responsibility, you know.
Of course.
You know, it does. It has to be wielded responsibly. I'm not saying that gives any man the right to go out and just start beating the hell out of women.
Yeah, that's insane.
You do not lay hands on a woman. Like, no, that's wrong. You don't frickin' do it. I don't care. You don't do it. But it just blows my mind because all I picture with women and all the talk back and, you know, the picking fights and the instigating men and all this stuff that goes on these days, what I picture in my mind is 6th grader me standing up to Ryan Angst, and who is easily 240 pounds of solid frickin' don't fuck with me muscle. And me at like 120 pounds soaking wet was sitting there just running my mouth, flapping my gums, and like that's what I picture. When I see this, like going back and forth, that's what I picture. And it's comical to me because it's like, I would have got the ever-living daylight slapped out of me. Like, holy crap.
It's kind of wild because again, I'm going to talk about another episode that me and Dave did here. We had an episode talking about like the family unit and everything and the feminist thing a little bit more. During that time when women got their right to vote, we had the advent of Edward Bernays creating propaganda. He wrote a book on propaganda. And one of the things that he did is he made smoking seem fashionable and modern for women.
I still think it's fashionable for me.
yeah. Because it never was before. It was never that thing for women. It was kind of seen as like a dirty thing that men kind of did.
It was disgusting,
Yes, it was disgusting. But he ended up switching that. And through that, a bunch of other efforts started happening. And it started whittling away. And what he realized, too, is that, or what like the broader movement in general realized, is that men, we hold a monopoly on force, but we do have ways of being manipulated, and it comes from within the home. And so they targeted the women with propaganda and got them to kind of organize in different ways. They started withholding sex from men. They started nagging more. They started getting in their husbands' ears a little bit about like this idea of women's rights and everything. And I mean, I am not against women's rights at all. I'm really not. What I'm really for is like an education. Like if we're going to be moving up as a society past baseline reality metrics and ways of handling society and things of that nature, we have to be able to evolve our minds as well. We can't stay in the past with our minds or our understandings or how we wield our emotions or anything of that nature. We have to be able to advance that as well. But what ended up happening is pretty much they revert the mind of men, they reverted the mind of women, and they keep us in these modern times, and they get us on these certain talking points, and it just destabilizes the two sides just enough to where there's this middle zone, and it's that conflict zone of special cases that we're talking about, like with the people in the comment section that come out. That is exactly that friction that they're fabricating, and they fabricate that on purpose. That fabrication, it keeps it divided, and it keeps us on it keeps us looking at each other as the issue, when really we're not the fucking issue here. We're just people, and we're trying our best, but we have like influences that we have that. There's supposed to be institutions that you can look into and like kind of hold to like a esteem, but they're not esteemable anymore. And it falls back to what you're talking about with men being kind of like responsible for all this, because we can't expect women to stand up and do militia style taking back a corrupt system. We can't expect that to happen. It falls on us. It truly does every single time. It also plays into politics too. I mean, for sure, because like if you've noticed, like it's primarily the Democrats that, and I'm not really trying to bring up politics or anything, but it does incorporate with politics, absolutely. But because if you notice, it's primarily the Democrats and the liberals of society that they cater to the what they call the minority, and the feminists, they cater to their wants, wishes, desires, and all that. And so that guarantees them votes. I mean, if you want to really play it back, like, and look at history and what lessons of history teach us, I mean, just look at Rome. Just look at the Empire of Rome. Like, dude, you're talking about division. You're talking about division in the household that has been sparked by, politicians and all these controversial topics trying to destroy the biblical family, the nuclear family, whatever the case may be, trying to destroy that, which they've pretty much successfully done. Why do they want to destroy it, Hank?
Because they want to distract the people, just like Rome did. It's a distraction. Yes, families together united are strong. That is a very strong being. But like individually, when we're at war against each other, at war against ourselves, then how can we we can't fight two battles. You can't fight on two fronts. It almost never works. You can't do it. I mean, unless everybody in the world just somehow, or everybody in this country somehow adapts like a freaking Chesty Puller, which if you don't know who he is, he's like the most famous Marine that ever lived. The Chesty Puller Marine mentality, when one of his subordinates approached him and said, "Sir, we're surrounded. They've got us surrounded on all sides. What do we do?" And he just responded, "Good. Now we can kill the bastards in any direction." Like, unless you adapt that kind of mentality, you're not going to succeed. And so when, we're fighting a war within the household and it's breaking us apart, and then we've got over here on this backside, the politicians are coming in and it's hitting us over here, and then over here on this backside, they're hitting us from over here because we're not one unit, we're now two units, and it's not working, and we crumble and we fall. Yep. And so just like with the Colosseum of Rome, why did they have the games, the Colosseum, the gladiators, the bloodshed? Why did they have that? Because it distracted the people from what was really going on. They fought so many freaking wars. They conquered so many freaking lands. They killed, massacred, raped, brutalized so many people.
Yep.
Back then. And the people of Rome had no idea. They had no idea. Because they're fixated on the games and what was happening within the city walls and within Rome. They were fixated here because that's what the politicians devised. And it's the same thing with modern sports these days. Like, everybody's hyper fixated on, oh my God, people will get in a fight because the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Like, over that, they'll get in a fist fight over it.
Yep.
They will get because screw the Red Sox. I personally feel that statement. I'm a Yankees fan, so screw the Red Sox.
Of course,
only
what? Naturally.
We'll get in a fight with a we'll get in a fight with a Red Sox fan just because they said the Yankees suck. You know what? Screw you, buddy. The Red Sox suck. Like, we'll get in a fight over that, and we're wasting our time, we're wasting our efforts, we're wasting our energy, and we're wasting our dignity. And that's exactly what they want. That's exactly what the powers that be want. And the worst part is I feel like there's a lot of people that realize this, but the sad part is they won't stand up and do anything about it.
They've given up.
People don't, like, they tend to just, and us as men, like, again, falls on our shoulders. It's our responsibility. It's not the responsibility of women. We don't hold women accountable for this kind of stuff. And that's a big problem too. I think that's a reason why accountability is like the female kryptonite of today. Like majority of females, I do not mean all, but majority of women's kryptonite is accountability. And why is that? It's because
accountability goes with responsibility, and they shouldn't have the responsibility, so they shouldn't have to be accountable.
Yes, yes,
dude, holy shit!
But also, we don't hold them accountable. Like, you think about it.
We don't hold each other accountable. We don't hold the government accountable. We're not holding anything accountable right now.
Nope.
It's like
what
the hell's happening?
Men fail too. It's not just men fail too, and that's the point I'm making here. It's not just the women. It's not the women's fault. It's the men's fault. We gave them the right to vote. What did we expect was going to happen? Society ran perfectly across the world. Okay, maybe not perfectly, but it ran functionally. Families ran functionally across the world for thousands of years before women had the right to vote. Now women have the right to vote, and guess what? Society's falling the fuck apart. Society is falling the fuck apart. Like, how in any way, shape, or form can anyone justify it and make it make sense? Make it make sense why we gave women the right to vote. Make it make sense. And I'm not saying that there aren't a certain few that are fully capable of taking accountability and using good, sound logic and factual information in their voting process and their everyday decision-making process. But here's the biggest problem. Women, like, just genetically, they make decisions based off feelings and emotions. Well, here's the problem with that. Feelings and emotions change once every 5 freaking minutes. Yeah. So if I make a big life decision because, like, I'm feeling sad right now, and so, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm just going to buy this brand new Corvette because that'll make me stop being sad.
Now I can't
Right.
afford to pay my house
But
bill.
now I
so
can't
I'm
afford the damn
homeless.
Corvette, right? Like,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, I've got this loan and it fucks me in the long run. Like, like, what the hell? Like, that's the point right there. Like, you cannot make like big decisions like voting on presidency, voting on a senator, voting on a governor, voting on a town mayor or city council, whatever. I don't care. You can't make big decisions using feelings and emotions. You can't.
Yeah.
You have to use logic and fact. Why do you think men propose marriage, not the other way around? Because they use factual information. If we left it up to women, we could just buy them flowers every day of the week and buy them a nice present every day of the week for a month straight, and they'd propose to us and we'd marry them, and then guess what? We don't ever have to do that again because we already got what we wanted.
Yeah.
Like, right? That's why men, this is why men are in charge of most things, like proposals, marriage. That's a big life decision. Men are the one that traditionally are supposed to propose. If a woman ever gets down on one knee and tries to propose to me, I'm going to tell her to get the fuck up and never do that again. Like, I'm sorry, but don't do that.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
emasculating to me. It's very disrespectful to me as a man, I feel like. You know what? And that also puts an emphasis on the fact that I should probably end this relationship now because you lack patience. You lack patience. And if a woman lacks patience, well, then she's not the one. Because it shouldn't matter if you're married or not married to devote yourself to one person. That should not matter. That should not matter. If you truly love that person, a ring shouldn't matter. I could go get a freaking ring pop and the right woman would say yes. The right woman would say yes. But the wrong woman would be like, get out of my face. Like, and that's a big problem. I see that a lot on social media too. Like, guys propose to their girl. Like, it took me 14 times proposing before she finally said yes. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah,
the first time she said no, I was gone. Like, the first time she said no, I left. It was that simple.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If it was a genuine proposal and not something stupid, a little like, oh my God, I love you,
like
will you marry me? Or
I
want to marry you, or like if you're drunk or something like that. If it's something, if I'm actually serious about it, and you say no, well, then we're done. We have no more to discuss, no more to talk about. All that need be done now is for us to each pack our own shit up and get the fuck gone. Simple.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. But there's so many simps out there these days. Like, OnlyFans is proof of that. To this day, I do not have an OnlyFans subscription.
No,
you can
I never
fact check
will.
the shit out of me on that. Hell no.
I never
Absolutely not. It is disgusting.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And it is disgraceful to women all across the world.
It's like ruining
So
society.
the whole civilization, it's bad. It's like,
yes,
dude,
absolutely,
what the fuck
absolutely.
is happening?
It is. It truly is. And to this day, I do not have one. I have never had one, and I won't either. I
don't care if the hottest chick in the world has an OnlyFans,
care.
and I don't give a shit, dude.
No,
That's never
don't
happening.
care. You can look like, and I find it like, I have noticed like in recent years, how they say like, you can't make a wife out of a hoe, kind of thing. Like, no guy wants a woman. Men care about body count. Men give a shit about that. Women do not. Women don't care about a man's body count. I could have slept with 300 women. Women don't care.
Right.
They will still find value in me because I provide something. So they will still find value in me, But, like, I give a shit about body count. I care about that. If you got a freaking double-digit number, like, that's pretty unattractive. That's extremely unattractive, And, like, I find it kind of, it's, like, I almost want to say amusing, but I don't want to say amusing because I feel like that would be offensive, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. But me personally, I've found in recent years, like, I guess my eyes have been opened a little bit to society and the world, and I've come to realize a few things and whatnot that I didn't before. And especially with my pursuit, in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
and trying to walk in his light and live in his grace. But one thing I've noticed is, like, if you look at like a porn star, an OnlyFans model, individual who has been with, like, not an individual, but a woman per se, because with men you can't see it, like, you can't tell, you can't really tell until they speak, but with women you can look in their eyes and you can see, like, I can tell the difference between a woman who's been ran through and a woman who's got, like, she's only been with 2 dudes or 3 dudes or 4 dudes, maybe 5 dudes, you know, maybe like 8 dudes. You know, I can look in her eyes and I can tell, because the eyes of a woman who's got a body count of like 50 plus, they look hollow. They look shallow. She looks soulless. Like, she looks tired. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a toll on your body.
It does. It really does. To you mentally.
Yeah. It does. And, you know, you can sit there and say that, like, you know, again, we'll go back to like basic, you know, primal functions of man and woman. We can go back to that. But, like, men are mentally stronger than women are. We are also physically stronger than women are. So we can handle rejection. We can handle breakups. We can handle abandonment way better than women can. And it shows, because guess what? Like 80%, I think it is. If I might fact check me on that, maybe it's 90. I don't remember exactly, but I know it, I'm pretty sure it's at least 80%. So we'll go with that. All the pharmaceuticals for mental health that are consumed in this country are consumed by women.
Yeah.
They're consumed by women. Why is that? Yep. Well, it's because they're in the workforce. They can't handle the stress of it. It's because they've had 4 or 5 really bad breakups and they have trauma from it. I'm sorry, but here's also an eye-opener for all the ladies out there. Your trauma is not my freaking responsibility. Fix that shit yourself before you try and go get with a man and damage him, okay? Yeah, right. It's not his job to fix you. It's your job to fix him. That applies to men too. If you're dealing with some shit, stay out of a freaking relationship. Don't contaminate a good woman, okay? That works both ways. But, you know, so back to what I was saying there, you can tell because they look tired, they look worn, they look just ragged and beaten down and broken down. And yeah, that woman's probably been ran through. She looks soulless. Literally, she looks 10 years older than what she is. That's my definition of what I would call soulless. Like, you look, like, in your facial features, you look, mostly around the eyes, you look 10 years older,
you know 15 what that
years
is?
Older than what you are.
That's a side effect of them masculine, because what you're talking about with how men are able to handle more trauma, more like mental type things, it's because we have like a shut off. We have like a shut off, like a dissociation type thing, and it happens because of war too. Like, we are the fighters, the providers, like, we go to battle, and it's a thing. And you have to be able to shut certain parts of like your basic.
You've got to be able to block it out so that you can carry on with life. Yes.
Yeah. And you have to be able to shut that off, but we're able to operate without that. Typically, not all the time, because some people go psychotic. It's a thing. But typically, we're able to operate still at a baseline level that is copacetic, productive, functioning. We can do that functioning.
Absolutely.
And that's a masculine trait in our brain, in our being as a human. But when a woman has to shut that off, that's them activating that masculine
It's borderline
aspect.
Impossible. It's borderline impossible.
The only way it happens really is through the trauma. They go through enough trauma.
Oh, yeah. And that all them comments on that post the other day, if you notice, those are all trauma responses. That's what those 100%, are. So 100%. That's actual, like, all those girls that commented on that with those trauma responses, that's actual proof of what I'm saying right now. Like, that's literally proof. Like, they proved my point right there with their trauma responses on that post, that comment, their comments. Those are trauma responses because, you know, like, you notice the men that commented. Now, mind you, I said the men, not the boys that were commenting on there, the little
The
white
betas.
knighters,
Yeah,
the
betas,
white
yeah.
knighters that are the simps of society, those white knighting guys that go in there and, oh, I got to stand up for women, and you know, blah, blah, blah,
That's them trying to get laid.
Like, yeah, that's them trying to get laid, and that's them trying to appease their wives so that they can continue to get laid. Probably they haven't been laid in a month of Sundays, but hey, you know what? That's their problem. But anyways, you know, those are trauma responses, and that's actual proof right there. Like, you can have a girl tell you, oh, you know, like, so what? I've been with 20 guys. You know, like, that doesn't affect me the rest of my life. Bullshit, you're traumatized. Bullshit, you are traumatized.
Yeah.
You have mental problems now. You have a lack of trust in men now. And you freaking, like, now, like, men never acquire a lack of trust in women throughout life. We're just naturally born with it. And why do I say that? Why do I say that? Because go back to the beginning of everything. Eve bit the apple and Eve doomed humanity. The woman did that. Men know that. Subconsciously, we know that. We know that the Bible teaches us that. God teaches us that. A woman doomed all of humanity. And so therefore, a part of woman's punishment is exactly what we're seeing happen in society today, is all these women, they want to be the leaders. God said women are not leaders.
Right.
That's not the way they're created. They want to be leaders. So a part of their punishment is that desire to become leaders. And then now they're kind of sort of getting their way, but they're failing epically at it 9 out of 10 times. And that is a part of their punishment. God is punishing them because of what Eve did. And so, you know, but all these trauma responses that we got there, that's just proof, like right there. Like, women can sit there and say body count doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because you're traumatized. You have mental issues now. You have trust issues. Like, you have all this, like, all this baggage, like, that you're bringing with you to another relationship. To put it really simply and in a monotonous term or phrase or saying, and I know this, like, I've said this to a few people, and it kind of like irritated them and they thought it was redundant, but like realistically, it's kind of like true if you look at it. Like, if I took like this bottle of water right here and I poured it into a glass, right? And I handed it to each of you, and let's say we had 10 other guys in the room, and we handed it around to all 10 guys, and they just held onto the side of the glass, and it just passed from one hand to the other. Nobody drank out of it, nothing. It just passed it around. When it got back to you, would you still drink that water?
No.
You wouldn't?
I don't know.
I would drink the water. There's nothing wrong with the water.
Yeah, if I saw that nobody drank out of it, I would.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everything's clear as day. Nobody drank out of it.
I trusted my own eyes with it. I would drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong with the water. That'd be like the same thing as I put the cap on this bottle of water, and we just pass it around, and everybody touches it right down here, down at the bottom, right? It just goes in everybody's hands like this. It goes through 20 guys' hands just like this. Nothing happens. The cap doesn't come off, nothing. Yeah. When you get the bottle of water, would you take the cap off and drink it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd take a drink of the water. There's nothing wrong with the water, right? Yeah. But now, if I took this cap off, and this bottle was a little bit more full because it's kind of down to here, but if I was able to, and I dunk my finger in this water bottle like this, and then I pass it around, tell everybody else to do the same, and every guy in there dunks his finger in just like that, you gonna drink that water?
No, it's not a finger that we're talking about here.
Right. But are you gonna drink that water? No, you're not gonna. I wouldn't drink that freaking water. That's disgusting. I'm probably not gonna drink that because I just don't want fucking finger in it. So you know what? Like, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, no, like that's disgusting. Like, you wouldn't drink that freaking water. That essentially, yes, Tommy, you got the reference. That's essentially the difference between men and women when it comes to sex. Like, I don't care how you want to. Yeah, like I don't care how you want to like try to rationalize it or whatever the case may be. You know, when you look at the facts of the matter, any woman can just go to a freaking bar and within 20 minutes of going in, probably, like, I'd go as far as to say within 10 minutes of going into the bar, providing there are men in that bar, like there is a male presence in that bar room, she could walk in and within 10 minutes walk back out with a dude and sleep with him. For a man to go into a bar and to sleep with a woman, like to take a woman home and sleep with her, that requires
finesse.
It takes finesse. It requires skill. It requires value. It requires like position in life. You've got to be somebody. You've got to build yourself up as a man in order to be valued like that. And you know what? Why do women get, like, women want to sit and they want to reverse the role. They want to reverse not just the roles, but they also want to reverse blame. They also want to reverse, like, the scrutiny and everything. So, like, women sitting over there, like, a man that, like, you know, I to being in a relationship, right? So, you know, if you're a girl that goes out to the freaking bar room every night with your friends, and like whether like if I'm not there, you're gonna go out with your friends. Sorry, you're not the girl for me. Like, we're like, if we're in a relationship and you're doing that, you're going out with your friends to the bar in a place where single people go to meet other single people, that's what I call single shit. You're doing single shit. Now, if you're single, sure, you can go out and do that all you freaking want. Go ahead. Be cautious how you do it, but you're allowed to go out and do that. No problem with that. But if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're going to the bar without your significant other, you're going hanging out with your girlfriends, or God forbid she has guy friends, because we all know if a woman has a guy friend, unless that son of a bitch is gay, and I mean like gayer than AIDS. Like,
he's just waiting.
Oh yeah, he's trying to fuck her. He wants that. He's trying to fuck you. I don't care. Your guy friends are trying to fuck you unless they're gayer than AIDS. Like, I'm sorry.
Or
but
she's
like,
waiting.
Literally, they're trying to fuck you.
Like the last option. They're like, if nothing works out, this is the guy. They're like, when I'm done fucking around,
that's that dude that got friend zoned. That's that poor son of a bitch that got friend zoned. Yep, that's that bastard. Like, you know, a moment of silence for our fallen friend in the friend zone there. Our fallen brother in the friend zone, you know. But like, but no, if you're going out doing that, like, that's disrespectful as hell to your partner. Like, I don't give a damn if it's a man or a woman. Like, guy goes to the bar, like, with his buddies. Like, now, on the man's side of things, given how hard it is for a man to take a girl home, it's a little bit more acceptable. It's a little bit more acceptable. Am I saying it's not disrespectful? No, that's
we're
not what I'm saying at all.
Get out there and get it as much.
Exactly, but a woman can. But a woman can. Why is that? Because a woman has value that she doesn't have to prove. Men have to prove their worth, have to prove their value. So therefore, it's very easy for a woman to go out and get sexual gratification from just any old stranger at a bar.
Yeah. There's a reason guys feel the way they do with this stuff. It's just we kind of get gaslit into, like, denying that by society and
as soon as they gaslight
women
you,
who want to hold that power over you.
As soon as they gaslight you, fucking leave. Best advice I can give you. As soon as they gaslight you, fucking leave. Go. Get the hell out, because I promise you, human beings, this is men and women together, like, as a whole, human beings are creatures of habit. So what that means is, if I let you disrespect me once, you will do it again. Guaranteed. And again. Yep. And every single time you do it, it'll be, what you do will be more disrespectful to me. It'll be 10 times more disrespectful. Whatever you do next will be 10 times more disrespectful than what you just did to me.
Value just keeps going lower and lower and lower until anybody around you is more valuable than you are. And then
whoop. Yep.
The friend zone dude gets fucking called up quick.
Yep. But, like, so women like to flip the script because women, they get jealous very easily. Women get jealous. We all know this to be true. Women get jealous very easily. All right, majority of women. I shouldn't say all. There are some of them out there that are pretty hard-dicked freaking women. Like, they're pretty badass. But you know what? Majority of women get jealous very easily. They get offended very easily. Men, like a real man doesn't get jealous. He just fucking moves on. He just gets even.
Right.
Men get even. We don't get jealous. We get even. Like, it's that simple. Like, we get even. You know, so your ex-girlfriend sees you out, like, y'all just broke up. She sees you out with another girl, like, a week later. You know, like, she gonna get jealous. But you see her out with another dude, you can be like, whatever. That's his loss. You know, like, that, a man would react that way, because as a man, a girl breaks up with you, you break up with a girl, your job is to be the stoic one. Your job is to be the one that's put together. That is what society expects of a man. And if you act any differently, you're not a man, and you're viewed as less of a man. You're viewed as less valuable because you don't have any self-respect. Like, sitting there crying, oh, don't leave me, baby, don't leave me. No, like, get up, act like a freaking man. She's done with you. Okay, be done with it. Move on. Simple. Done. Over. Gone. Boom. Bye-bye. It's that simple. Like, as men, that is what we need to do. Like, women have become very good at that these days. They have become very good at that these days. And actually, I don't necessarily think that it's because they've become mentally or psychologically good at it. I think it's because, in my experience anyways, women these days, they're checked out of the relationship 6 to 8 months before they actually break up with you.
Yep.
And the reason why they do that is to protect themselves. You can't really blame them for it, because they're protecting themselves.
Mechanism. Yep.
It is. They're doing it to protect themselves.
Get rid of that
because,
trauma.
they're going through that 6 to 8 months to make sure, am I really sure I want to leave this dude?
Dudes get blindsided.
All the while, you don't
point,
know this is going on, which is really shitty. All the while, you have no clue this is going on, and it's really freaking shitty. You know, because, like, that's not a good woman. That's not wife material right there. If she debates that shit, then check the fuck out. Like, check the fuck out. Like, if she says, oh, I want to take a break, check the fuck out and leave.
Yeah.
Never come back. Sorry. Like, getting back together with your ex, like, does not work. And the same thing is freaking begging and pleading with a woman. She's just gonna, like, she will have no respect for you whatsoever. You don't beg and plead with women. Like, as a man, you don't beg and plead for women. Women beg and plead us. How do you think they got the right to vote? They begged and they pleaded with men to get the right to vote. And they still have to. They have to appeal to men every day. I don't care what they do. They all work for a man in the end. They all work for a man. It doesn't matter. You go to work, the guy that runs that company, he's a man. The person that runs that company, I guarantee you, 99% of the time, it's a man. It's a man. And then you're going to have the women, the feminists get on here, and they're going to be like, oh, well, that's because there's no equality in a workplace. And, you know, like, this, and it's like, no, bitch, we tried the equality thing. We're doing the equality thing right freaking now. You want equality? You want to be CEO? You want to own a company? Go out and fucking do it. Go fucking do it.
Right.
Like, it's that simple. Go freaking do it. Go prove to us you can be a freaking leader. But if you can't, don't be bitching about equality. Women lack that capability and that discernment to be able to be like, well, maybe it's not equality's fault. Maybe it's just that we're not skilled enough to be leaders. Maybe we don't have the right tools to be leaders. Maybe there's just other things in life that we are amazing at that men can't do.
You know, I hope...
But they don't take pride in that anymore. They don't take pride in being feminine.
That this episode rings in Texas. And that we're able to get you shacked up with a wife, or maybe 4 of them, dude. Maybe 4 wives for Hank the Yank, dude. Like, could you imagine?
Honestly,
be biblical, dude.
No, man. Like, I mean, honestly, like, shoot, like, you know, I mean, having multiple wives, like, that's just.
Yeah,
I
know. I wouldn't want that either, dude.
No. That's sinful. But I mean, like, it kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know if you guys ever watched. There's an old TV show called The Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
There's like one episode. You can find the little script of it or the little video or reel or whatever on Facebook or Instagram or like probably Google search if you do it. But there's like one where like Jed Clampett, this freaking hillbilly who strikes oil on his property, becomes rich and moves to California. And he becomes friends with like this other rich guy, and like he ends up meeting some rich oil tycoon from like Arabia or something. And like that guy, they were like, tell us a little about it. He's like, well, I have 213 wives. And Jed Clampett, he's a good old hillbilly Christian man, and the guy asked doing the interview, he's like, Mr. Clampett, what do you think about that he has so many wives? And Mr. Clampett's just like, well, I reckon a feller that's got that many wives ought to be able to come home and at least find one of them in a good mood. It's but I mean, not that I believe in having multiple wives. I do not. I believe that's a sin. And along with Mormonism, I
lost you again.
That's not biblical at all.
Oh yeah. But
did you lose me?
Just for a second there.
Oh.
But
okay. Yeah. But no, that's not biblical at all, in my opinion. I don't agree with that. I don't believe in it. And if God has if there's a wife out there for me, and God has like someone for me, awesome.
Comment down below.
Yeah, literally. Let's find Hank his wife. God-fearing.
I don't really I'm not really super hyper focused on or fixated on finding a wife. I'm just trying to...
That's how the right one falls in your lap.
Good. Yes. Very good.
For the last few years, it's just been, I'm not saying that I haven't dated. I have dated, and, things didn't work out or whatever, whatever the case may be. Just wasn't the right person. I wasn't the right person for them. They weren't the right person for me. That's okay. Stuff happens in life. Have I been done dirty? Yes. Have I done bad things? Yes. I'm not perfect by any freaking means.
We're all learning, buddy.
I'm at a point in my life, I'm 32 years old. You guys, I believe you're probably a year older than me, maybe two.
I'm same. I'm 32.
Yeah, 32.
Same? Okay. Yep. All right. So we're all the same age here. I'm at a point, me being single, I know David can't, you can kind of go through the same process with your life, even though you are married. I believe all men can go through the same process, but for this just particularly pertains to being single, I guess you could say. So it wouldn't pertain to yourself particularly, but I'm just more hyper focused on becoming the best version of Hank. That's my hyper focus. I'm hitting the gym, I'm training my ass off. People don't even understand what goes into training for rodeo and whatnot. They just think it's you just show up and throw a freaking rope on a bull or a saddle on a horse, and you just get on and hang on tight and nod your head and grit your teeth.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more. I mean, I'm in the gym, and working this night shift job here that I'm doing security for has kind of put a damper on my training time, or at least I thought it was going to. But actually what I've done is, because this is a really big property, there's 20 acres here, I think, or maybe 15 acres here, I think. And it's just full of all this equipment and everything. It's my job to go out and, a few times a night, I don't have to do it all night. Well, no, I don't go out and lift that equipment, but I got to go out and walk around and check on it. So what do I do with that? I go out, I got a hiking pack back here that I've chock full of freaking weight. And I'm going out and for at least 2 to 3 hours a night, I usually try to start around midnight because it's cooler, it's the coolest time of the night. And I'll finish just before the workers start pouring in on this job site. And so, I walk around. I walk and I walk and I walk and I walk with this weight. And it's just I'm training just like when I was in the Marine Corps. There's a reason why they used to put us out on these, we called them humps. We called it going on a hump. Mm-hmm. The Army calls it a ruck march, or the military term, I guess, realistically is called a forced march. and because you're forced to march, and but essentially it's a hike with a shit ton of gear on your back that weighs a shit ton, and it's exhausting and it's exerting. But I can remember like going on freaking like 20. I had to do a 25-mile hump, like just to graduate infantry school, like just like 25 miles with full gear, like full gear,
rough.
everything.
That's what they used to call
135 pounds on my back. Like it's a lot of weight. Like, but I used to be, and it used to take hours to complete that shit. We'd start out at 3 a.m. We wouldn't finish until like 5, 6 at night. We'd get to where we're going, and we just marched 25 miles in a day. Like, but they were training us to be warriors. That's why the training was so excruciating. It was so hard. It was so like unforgiving, and the way people train, like here in the civilian world, I've noticed it myself as a up and coming athlete. Like I hit the gym for 2 hours and I'm exhausted. Dude, I used to be out in the field humping around with a 35-pound flak jacket, carrying a freaking 8-pound rifle, 300 rounds of ammunition with this exact same pack that I'm humping around here with for hours on end, not even phased by it. And that's a full body workout, after we did PT that morning. And like,
endurance,
here I'm
and
in the gym.
that grit.
Yeah, and here I'm in the gym, and after 2 hours, I'm exhausted.
Right.
Like, it's that warrior training. It's that warrior mentality, And so, like, I'm trying to get back to that, and I'm trying to better myself, and I'm trying to become the best version of me. And the reason why I'm doing that, is because number one, I want to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
The person I am today is better than who I was yesterday, and the person I will be tomorrow is going to be better than who I am right now currently. End of discussion. That's never going to change. But so the other reason for that is because when that wife comes along, or whatever God has planned for me in my life, whenever that time comes,
you'll be ready.
I want to be the kind of man that says, send me.
Yeah.
Here am I, send me. I want to be that man. I want to be the here am I, send me.
Yep.
Whom shall go for us and whom shall I send? Here am I, send me. Like, that is what I'm working to be. And so that I can be that man, and I can be the best husband, the best version of myself to my wife. I can give her the best version of me, like out of all the versions of me that there have been. Like,
it's noble shit, Hank.
That it's that simple. It's self-sacrifice for someone else or something else. That's what it is. That's what we as men are called to do. That is who we are called to be as men. And you can't even, like, you can't argue it in any way, shape, or form.
Did you get your pictures?
What's that? No, I haven't. I'm about to go out and do.
There we go. Yeah, we can't not take the pictures.
It's like we're 2 minutes past. Yeah.
It's the warrior's journey.
The exemplary example, man.
Exemplary example. And that's something that I want to say to the listeners. Like, take the warrior's path. Look at this man.
Right?
Look at this man. He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
We always bring it back to God in the end of each episode. We try to, like, tie the whole topic home with the Lord. And, like, I feel like you just did. Like, you are making you the best you that you possibly can be for whatever the Lord has in store for you.
Yep. I agree. We've lost audio.
Yeah, we don't have audio. You're muted.
Either muted or disconnected the headphones.
Oh, that was my bad. My headphone disconnected there for a second.
Yep.
You're good.
But no, like, Matt, like what I was saying there and what I was trying to get at is, like, we as men, like, even boys, guys that fuck boys, little bitch boys, simps, like, subconsciously, our primal instincts require us to have purpose in life.
Yep.
Women don't require purpose in life. Like, women don't. Men do. in order to maintain ourselves, in order to not fall into deep, dark depression, which is what I think a lot of men, like happens to a lot of men, they lack purpose.
Yeah.
They lack purpose. And that's why you see a lot of guys like, or you see the statistics that say like that a lot of men are out there just suck starting 45s, you know, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's because they lack purpose. And without purpose, what is life? What is life to a man? Like to you guys, like what is life without purpose? Like I have purpose this way because I'm working to build myself to be the best version of myself so that I can be the best provider, the best man, the best husband, the best father, the best mentor, whatever to my future family.
Right.
You know, and if it doesn't come to pass that I end up marrying someone, that I have a wife, that I have children, if it's God's will that does not happen, but maybe there comes like, I don't know, like apocalyptic times and I'm called on to become a warrior, to be a warrior, then I want to be the best version of that warrior that I can possibly be so that I can protect those that are standing behind me.
Right.
That is the whole right. Like that's
huge.
the whole mindset here. And I'm working, you know, and it ain't easy. Like there is nothing easy about it. But you know what? If you want the easy shit in life, get the hell out of mine because I don't want you around. Like I'm not here chasing easy shit, man. Like I don't want like anything to come easy to me. I don't want shit just handed to me. Like that's just, it's disrespectful to me personally. I feel it like not just disrespect from whoever's handing it to me, but like that's that's a lack of self-respect that I have for myself if I accept it. And so it's just, you know, like, you know, I don't want the easy path in life. I want this path to be hard as fucking hell because iron sharpens iron. I'm going to be like that brother to somebody, you know, to any one of my friends that when they need a freaking like a hammer to smash some sense into them and sharpen their iron, I'm going to be that hammer. I'll be that voice of reason. When, you know, like, and when my future family, my wife needs strong arms to comfort her in a dark, scary time, I'll have that and I will be that solid chunk of iron that protects her. I will be the armor that protects her and protects my family. That is what I want. Iron sharpens iron. And, you know, it also goes without saying, there's a gentleman, I don't know his name, but he's an older guy, wears a cowboy hat, and he's got a big beard, and he does a lot of like podcasts, and he talks about what it is to be a man. I love this dude.
I know
like,
who you're talking about.
Yeah, he looks like an old mountain man type dude, and he says, yeah, and he says it best. Like he says, you know, like life isn't easy. Like you think like you're just gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be this perfect version of yourself. No, that's not how it works. Nope. The truth of the matter is, how do you make a good sword? You put it in the forge. It's got more forge time than all the other swords. So you got a lot more time left. You got to go into that fire and you got to get melted down and broken down. And then you got to be pulled out and stuck on that anvil. And then guess what? You think it's over with because it cooled down and you're not in that fire anymore. You got some hammer time now, buddy. You got to get hammered on and you got to get forged and you got to get built into the perfect sword, the perfect weapon. You have to be built into that. You have to be created just like a sword is created. And if you think like that first time out and then that first time getting hammered on, that's it. No, absolutely not, man. You're dead wrong. You're going to go back in that forge. Back in that forge, and you got to get heated up and broken down again and then pulled back out, and you got more hammer time. You got a lot more forge time. And here's the beauty of it. It never stops, because if it stops, that means you die. That means you're dead. If the forge time stops, that means you're dead, because you're no longer useful. You're not becoming better. Like if you're not becoming at least 1% better every day, then you're dying.
You're dying.
You're dying.
You're dying.
Like sitting stagnant, sitting at 58% or 98% and not working on getting to that 100%, sitting stagnant at that 98% is the same thing as being at 1%. It's the same thing. It's still death. It is dying. Being stagnant like that is dying. And men need purpose. And a lot of men these days, they lack purpose. And they don't, like, you know, and a lot of it has to do with feminism and women, like, coming in and trying to lead the household and all this. Like, women are,
I think it's a lack of faith.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, lack of faith is huge.
Like, all these tools, like the feminism thing is a tool. And it's a tool to get people
it's
away from God.
It's exploiting a lack of faith.
Yeah.
It exploits a lack of faith, but it's also, like you said, it's a tool that emasculates men. It emasculates us as men, and it tears us down because what happened 250 years ago? Real masculine men stood up to a tyrannical government and they whooped their fucking ass and created this country that we now have today.
Right.
And our government now wants us emasculated because they're afraid because of the diabolical
they're a
evil
tyrannical
shit that they're
government.
doing. Yeah, it's a tyrannical. We're under the regime of a tyrannical government, and so they're trying to emasculate us to make us weaker, so that we can't stand up against them.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, like, seriously, when it comes down to that time, and this is a big question for all the feminists that are out there and listening, answer this question for me, like maybe in the comments or whatever. I'll try to do my best to check on it when I'm watching this video, and like I'll try to pay attention to it. But answer me this: if it comes down to it with a tyrannical government, who's going to go fight that battle? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Because you want equality, you want to prove that you're as good as men. Get out there and prove it. Like, I'll sit back and watch until, like, well, no, I won't, because I'm a man. That just won't fucking happen. I'm not going to sit back and watch. It's my duty. It's my obligation as a man. It's my responsibility to stand up and fight. I'm not going to sit back and watch women go out and fight. That's pathetic. Like, it's just pathetic to even think about. Like, feminists, like dildo packing freaking feminists ain't going to go out there and take over or overthrow a tyrannical government. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit. You can arm them with guns all you want. They probably don't even know how to shoot the damn things. And even if they do, they're going to freak out as soon as they run out of ammunition.
I've been saying,
I'm sorry,
if the immigrants will help us overthrow the tyrannical government, they get automatic citizenship.
Do what?
I said if the immigrants will help us take over the tyrannical government, then they get automatic citizenship in the new country.
Well, see, immigrants already have citizenship. If illegal immigrants were to help us, immigrants were to help us, and they don't have any kind of violent criminal record, then we can grant them citizenship.
Against doing anything crazy.
I mean, our country does that right now. Our country does that right now. I served with a guy who is from Kenya, and the whole reason why he was like serving, he was in the Navy. He was a corpsman. I can't even pronounce his last name. Like, we just called him Doc Oni, but it was like Oniani Yantes or some crap like that. I don't know. Really long last name. But anyways, the only reason why he was serving, he wasn't an American citizen. He was serving so that he could bring his family to America, and they would all, if he served a full term with the Navy, a 6-year term with the Navy, his entire family would get granted citizenship, including himself.
That's dope. That's a good program.
That's awesome.
So our government does offer programs like that, and like there is situations like that,
right.
You know, and like that whole illegal immigration thing, like, I don't give a shit. They're all criminals. They all broke the law because they came here illegally. 100% of illegal immigrants are criminals. It's, you know, some of them, granted, some of them are far more violent than others. Some are more peaceful, and they just want to live there. They just want to come over here and they want to make an honest living. Totally understandable, but it doesn't change the fact that they're still they still broke the law.
Of
Right.
laws and ethics and
Yes.
statutes that you have to. You got to come here legally. That's the good faith aspect of it. You don't come
Right,
here on bad
absolutely.
faith. You come here on good
Yeah.
faith. It means that you
Yep.
go through a couple of tests, you learn about us a little bit, and you get in. Then you get in.
Yeah,
Well,
and those,
Hank-
and those
Good faith
stupid.
Hank, we'll
The
have to have
stupid-
you back for the immigration talk.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
already
Yeah, for sure.
we've already
For
gone for
sure.
over 3 hours. I feel like that last point was a great place to end it. It really does tie back to
Heck
like
yeah.
why I wanted you
yeah.
on here in the first place, was because
Heck yeah.
like this idea of like family and community, like we've been talking about it a
Yeah.
lot, and like following
Yep.
Christ, building yourself, like whether you're a man or a woman, like being the best you can be, and
Yep.
and just following
Yep.
God, that has a trickle down effect that allows you to
Yeah.
get the career you
Absolutely.
want, get the relationship you want, be the person you want to be. And
Yeah.
like
Yep,
I
for
feel,
sure.
I feel like you've expressed it beautifully.
Yep.
Yeah, and that,
And-
like, you know,
Thank
if there's no other takeaway from like the spectators in the audience of this other than just this one point, like, men, be better. Like, it's that
Yeah.
simple. Just be better, guys. Like,
Yep.
you know, like, we all need to be better. We all need to step up. Nobody is perfect.
Yep.
Men, women, children, I don't care. Nobody's perfect. But the sooner that we as men start to step up and we start to own our manhood, like, and all these
The better all
fuckboys
of
and
it
these
gets.
simps and these bitch boys and whatever you want to call them, like whatever title or name you want to call them, I don't care. Like, as soon as like we as men start emphasizing this, and it starts by like as fathers, it starts with fathers, because this is where
Yeah.
like a lot of like society starts to crumble and fall apart, is because parents are not teaching their children how to be good men and good women.
Right.
Like it's you know, like we're shying away from teaching, like, because you always hear like common common practice that you always hear is like, you know, you treat women with respect, like you treat women nicely, like you be good to women, right? We teach young boys to be good to women. We teach them how to treat a lady,
Yeah.
right? And we teach young girls how to expect a man, a gentleman, to treat them as a lady.
Yeah.
But we don't teach young boys how they should expect to be treated by a lady. We don't teach young girls how they are expected to treat a man or a gentleman or their husband or whatever. We don't teach that anymore. We teach one side of it, but we don't teach the other.
We gotta take
And it's really sad, so it
responsibility
starts-
as a
Comes
culture.
from the
and-
parents.
Yep.
Yep,
We
it
gotta take
starts
responsibility.
in the home. And the sad part is, like I said earlier, after you turn 18 and you're out of your parents' house, it's not your parents' responsibility anymore, it's yours.
Right.
Yes,
So
sir.
you don't get to blame your parents. You can, but it's not going to get you anywhere. Playing that blame game won't get you anywhere in life, man or woman. I don't care who you are. It'll get you nowhere. All it'll get you is a victim mentality. And that is the worst mentality to have in the world, in my personal opinion, because you are weak as shit. And I will never respect you. You hold no value in life. Like, literally, like you don't provide anything of value to society as a victim. Like, you don't.
No, that's
Genuinely, you
fact.
don't. If you're gonna play the victim card, then, you know, like, you literally hold no value in this society. Like, there's nothing to you. There's nothing to you. You are generally just weak, and it's pathetic. And if you're a man and you're playing this victim, it's kind of excusable for women to do it. Kind of. But if you're a man and you're playing this victim card, you're pathetic, you're weak, you are not a man, you're a little boy, you're a little bitch, and I respect you about that fucking much. Zero. Like,
On that
no.
note, Hank,
You're
do you got
disgusting.
anything that any place that people you want people like funnel people to come see your stuff? Do you got like a page or something where they can see your rodeo
Socials.
or talk about it
Yeah.
all? What do you got?
People can follow me. I'm on 2 platforms of social media right now. I never really got into the TikTok thing or YouTube or anything like that. So I have Instagram and I have Facebook. My Instagram is
We'll
at
link it.
official Hank the Yank with the little underscore thingies. I don't know what they're freaking called in between each word. And then my professional Facebook page is Hank the Yank Kellogg. And that's just, like how it sounds written out. That's my professional athlete page. Come on ahead, give me a follow on either one of those. You can follow me on my journey
We'll have 'em up
through
on the
rodeo
screen.
and whatnot. You got them up? Awesome.
We will have
Thank
them
you.
up. Yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The magic
But
of
yeah,
editing.
anybody can follow me there. Like, followers help. The more followers I have, the better I look to potential sponsors, because
Right.
unfortunately, a part of this new modern screwed up society, it's not about how good you are at whatever sport or whatever you do. It's about how many followers you have on social media that
how-
determines
how
the
big of a
value of your
reach.
sponsorship. Yep. That determines the value of your sponsorship. And, like, I'm trying to get some of those bigger name sponsors and whatnot. So I need a stronger following in order to acquire those. Like, just the bare minimum basic sponsorships. They're like, one of their questions in their survey that they'll ask you when you apply for sponsorship is, do you have at least 12 to 1,500 followers on Instagram, Facebook, or any of your social media platforms? It's like, it's not, hey, how good are you at what you do? It's how many people follow what you do.
Well,
and it's kind of,
we haven't even gotten there yet,
but,
so we might not get you that much of a boost. But everybody go
hey,
and follow Hank's pages.
Yep.
You know what? Like, 2 follows, I'm happier than a pig in shit with that. Like, that is more, that's an accomplishment right there. So, you know what? Like, I mean, mine have grown over the years, and I'm very blessed with that. But like, obviously more growth is always welcome, whether it's personal or social or physical, whatever the case may be, more growth.
Right. So go give them a follow, a like, a subscribe.
Yeah.
And do the same for us. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
watching.
absolutely. Go follow my boys over here, Tommy and David. Like, go give them a follow for sure. And if I could just leave off with one thing before we close out here.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a message more so to the men. I mean, it also applies to women. It does, but I'm directing this more towards the male of the human species. Be better, do better, go out and work on yourself, become the men that God intended you to be. And I'm going to steal this line because I fucking love it so much. So, and I don't know the guy's name. I don't know this guy's name, but I follow him a lot and I watch his stuff. I know he's
Quote,
his page
unknown.
is like helping horses, something like that. It's something helping horses. But anyways, is like, that's the name of one of his page. So I don't know his actual name, but I'm going to quote him in saying this, and I've started using it myself. But I love you all, no matter what your opinions are of me. I don't care. Nothing but love. There's no hate here. The only thing God teaches me to hate is sin, and that is all I will hate. And so I love you all. I love you two guys. Y'all are freaking awesome. Thank you for having me on.
We love you too,
and
Hank.
a pleasure. Thank you. And so y'all just stay, like, to y'all men out there, be better. Make yourselves into the men that you want your sons to be, that you want your sons to become and to emulate, that you want your daughters to end up marrying someday. Work your ass off. Never take the easy road. Never, ever take the easy road, because I promise you, what you get at the end of it will not be worth it. It'll be more struggle and more hardship. I promise you. Take the road less traveled. Always take the road less traveled.
Amen.
Outside of that, be resilient. Hold strong in your faith. Trust in the Lord above. Stay the course. And most of all, resist the fucking evil. Resist that fucking evil that is all around us. That's all I got for y'all.
Hank. Thank you very much, Hank, for coming on. We appreciate you very much, buddy.
All right, everybody.
I appreciate y'all.
Be blessed. See ya.
Love.
Godspeed, y'all.
Later.